Chapter 187. In a certain underwater mountain range under the control of the Black Flood Dragon Cave under the Stellar Tower, nobody knows that this mountain range at the bottom of the sea is the current lair of the Nine Demons Hall's sole surviving majesty, D9. There is a great formation set up in this lair, so apart from D9, the two Vice Valley Masters Yen Mao and Yen Xin and the 6 Guardians, nobody else knows the way out. Holding a jade cup, D9 is enjoying the taste of fine wine. Yen Xin, what's the result of the 10 squads we sent out? D9 asks indifferently. Yen Xin and Yen Mao are D9's most trusted subordinates. Yen Xin says at once, Valley Master, this time we sent out 10 squads to infiltrate the Qin dynasty from different places. But the Stellar Tower really has a lot of defenders, so 4 squads were still killed. Oh, 4 squads were still killed? D9 slightly frowns. This time the 10 squads he sent out all entered from different directions. Some entered directly through the city gate in broad daylight, some entered from some nook in the gloomy mountain range, some took a big detour and entered the wilderness from the sea area, then entered the Qin dynasty. Even so, 4 of the 10 squads were still destroyed. D9 gives several cold laughs. Looks like that Qin Yu really took a lot of trouble to protect his family. Yen Xin also adds, from this, it can be seen how much Qin Yu values his family. Only in this way can Valley Master kill Qin Yu's family members to make Qin Yu grieved. Only in this way can Valley Master vent his anger a little. That's reasonable. D9 gives a smile. If he doesn't value his family members, killing them won't have any effect on him, so what's the point of me doing it? I'll only make him grieved and miserable. The more grieved and miserable he is, the happier I'll be. 6 squads, 60 people. After entering the capital, they'll be divided into 12 squads. I wonder how many people they'll be able to kill. D9 drinks up the wine in his mouth, then stands up and leaves directly. The 2 brothers Yen Xin and Yen Mao see him off with a bow. Big brother, Valley Master hates Qin Yu to the bone so much that he's almost obsessed. However, the Stellar Pavilion is much more powerful than us. The Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province are also on Qin Yu's side. If this continues... Yen Mao frowned and transmitted. Even though the 2 of them are absolutely loyal to D9, they are also a little confused about the future. However, the 2 of them can only discuss this matter through holy sense communication. They do not dare to let D9 know about it. Yen Xin laughs coldly, then uses his spiritual sense to say, Second brother, you and I were both brought up by the Valley Master. All the other highnesses are dead. Do you think we can still betray them? What's more, those who go out to do things are ordinary people. Us brothers and the 6 great protectors don't leave the valley. There's no danger. After pondering for a moment, Yen Xin said, Second brother, all you have to do is work hard in your cultivation. Kill as many of Qin Yu's relatives as you can. Don't worry about the rest. With the Valley Master hiding so deeply, I don't believe that Qin Yu can find him. Yen Mao also nodded. After all, anyone with a bit of brain can see that D9 is at a disadvantage. But his only advantage at the moment is that he is in the dark. And Qin Yu is in the open. D9 can attack Qin Yu in the dark, but Qin Yu can find where D9 is, so he cannot attack him even if he has the power. In the capital of the Qin dynasty, 2 Zuyoists are having a discussion in a garret on a city gate tower. Hey brother Yen, we've been here for more than half a year, but those remnants of the 9 Spirits Hall just haven't shown up. We've even been forced to use our holy senses to keep an eye on them. This is really... says a short man. The other tall and sturdy man is sitting with legs crossed. At this moment, he also opens his eyes, saying, Be careful. If something goes wrong, Tower Master will be furious and you'll lose your little life. At this moment, the tall and sturdy man's face changes color. Zuyoists have appeared. There are over 10 Zuyoists within a radius of 1000 m on this city gate tower. In an instant, the tall and sturdy man tells the Zuyoists not far away through holy sense communication. Figures can be seen rushing out from various small garrets on the city gate tower like lightning. Through holy sense communication, nearly 100 Zuyoists within a radius of several thousand m start to rush towards a certain direction in an instant. It's broad daylight. Hurry up. Don't let those mortals see you. The squad leader in charge of the group of 100 guards shouts to his subordinates through holy sense communication at once. Immediately, those 100 guards all reach their top speed. Like strong winds, they are already 100 m away in the blink of an eye. Only Xiantian experts can barely see them moving at such a speed. But how many Xiantian experts are there on the Qianlong continent? How many Xiantian experts can there be in such a short distance? Poof! Blood splashes out. Pang! His flesh is torn apart while he is still alive. You've killed the wrong person. I'm a guard of the Stellar Tower. Among the 5 people being attacked, a thin green-haired man immediately says to the attacking Zuyoists through holy sense communication. Zuyoists are busy killing, so they basically have no time to talk and can only use holy sense communication. You've killed the wrong person? A guard of the Stellar Tower? That squad leader stands in front of the green-haired Zuyoist and says with a cold smile. In the blink of an eye, 4 of the 5 Zuyoists have been killed. This is the only one left. Lord, I'm really a member of the Stellar Tower. I don't believe you can sense my jade identity card. The green-haired Zuyoist says hurriedly in a panic at once. The squad leader says with a cold smile, Your jade identity card is indeed a jade identity card of the Stellar Tower. But, Tower Master has ordered us to kill all Zuyoists who enter the territory of the Qin dynasty. The green-haired Zuyoist still wants to quibble. There is a faint teasing smile on the squad leader's face. Brat, don't make up stories. Let me tell you, Tower Master has ordered Manager Ye Zhong that none of the Stellar Tower's troops are allowed to enter the territory of the Qin dynasty. The green-haired Zuyoist rolls his eyes and says, Lord, I'm one of the 10,000 Zuyoists who came here at the beginning. I'm a guard arranged to guard the border of the Qin dynasty. The squad leader is stupefied. That's possible. There are indeed 5,000 troops guarding the border. Didn't Tower Master order you not to leave without permission? The squad leader asks doubtfully. At the moment, he still hasn't relaxed his vigilance. The green-haired Zuyoist is delighted in his heart. Looks like there is hope. Alas! Lord, those few people just now were with me. You killed the wrong people. You killed your own people. The green-haired Zuyoist says sadly. The squad leader appears to be stupefied. At the moment, the green-haired Zuyoist has already found a way to escape. However, poof! A sharp sword pierces through the green-haired Zuyoist's stomach. The green-haired Zuyoist stares at the squad leader in front of him with wide-open eyes and says in disbelief, why did you? Bro, you're really clever. What a pity. How could Tower Master not have thought of this loophole? The identity jade tablets of each of our 10,000 guards have been remodeled. When we sensed you with our holy senses for the first time, we knew you weren't one of us. The squad leader gives a brilliant smile. Then why did you tell me so much? This Jean Dan stage Zuyoist has been stabbed in a vital part. Even though he is already badly injured, he still wants to know the answer. The squad leader says solemnly, well, who told you to come so late? We've been waiting here for more than half a year but didn't see your shadow at all. We were bored, so of course we wanted to tease you a bit. Ha! Those nearly 100 Zuyoists all burst out laughing. Some mortals in the surroundings are puzzled as to why those big men in the distance are laughing. However, seeing how strong those nearly 100 big men are, nobody dares to go forward. Brothers, take care of them. Let's go. After destroying the corpses, this squad of 100 slowly and unhurriedly enters the city gate. Afterwards, they go up the city wall and return to their posts. Almost at the same time, the other 5-man squads stealthily try to break into the capital from various places. However, the defense of the capital can be said to be impenetrable. One squad after another is massacred. The Stellar Tower's guards, who haven't killed anyone for more than half a year, wantonly tease these guys. However, the Stellar Tower's guards are too careless. When they kill a squad, another squad will appear immediately afterwards and continue to enter the capital from the same position. This is because the guards who were originally guarding this place will go and kill the previous squad. Therefore, the squad that appears later can enter the capital safely. If the Stellar Tower's guards are vigilant and keep watch with their holy senses, they will very likely catch the second 5-man squad. However, there are obviously not many vigilant guards. Of the 12 5-man squads, there are still 5 5-man squads that have entered the capital using this method. As for entering the capital through the air, they simply don't even think about it because the entire sky above the capital has been sealed by restrictive spells. Even a small bird will not be able to fly in. In Prince Yu's mansion in the capital, Qin Yu was sitting on a chair. As for Yen Rui and Liang Tan, they were in front of Qin Yu. Yen Rui was wearing a black battle armor. That battle armor specially outlined Yen Rui's curvaceous figure. As for Liang Tan, he had a solemn expression and was looking straight ahead. Tower Head, there are alarms all over the city gate tower. Various squads are trying to sneak into the capital. We still don't know if any of them have broken through the defense and entered. Liang Tan says solemnly. Qin Yu nods and says smilingly, "That's pretty awesome. Zuyoists everywhere in the capital should be a bit more careful. Check them carefully one by one. As for the Zuyoists in the Imperial Palace, I don't think I need to say much. Don't worry, Tower Head. No matter how many of Denai's men come, they will all die. Absolutely none of them will succeed." Liang Tan says confidently. Qin Yu nods smilingly. Of course he is not worried. Qin Yu has not only arranged the Stellar Tower's guards on the borders of the Qin dynasty but also on the city walls. Moreover, there are over 1,000 Zuyoists in the capital at will. They are monitoring everywhere in the capital at will. The Imperial Palace is even more impregnable. Lord, the defense in the Imperial Palace is too tight. More than half of the surviving 25 brothers have died in a short while. A scholar-looking Zuyoist is sitting in a tea house. After hearing his subordinate's message via Holy Sense communication, he orders, "Change the target. Attack the prince's descendants and ministers inside the capital. Kill as many as you can." "Yes." The scholar sips a mouthful of tea and says with a sigh, "Valley Head, you're sending us to our deaths." There is a faint bitter smile on the scholar's face. But they have no choice but to come because if they don't, what Denai will bring them will not be death but a fate worse than death. All of a sudden, "Brother, you've really got guts to break into the Qin dynasty's capital." A youngster walks towards the scholar. The scholar's face changes color greatly. He is unexpectedly unable to see through this youngster's cultivation level. Late Gene Dan stage. A puny late Gene Dan stage cultivator dares to break into the capital? You're really courting death. These words rise in the scholar's ears. At the same time, the youngster also goes to his side. However, at this moment, the scholar is no longer moving. Because he is already dead. This youngster is none other than one of the 10 captains of the Stellar Tower's 10,000 guards. Oh! A terrifying cry rises. Immediately afterwards, there is a series of explosions. More than half of the mansion of the Minister of War is destroyed. Swish! 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 In an instant, more than 10 figures appear in the mansion of the Minister of War at the same time. All of them have very unsightly expressions. Every important minister is protected by 3 Zuyoists. However, the true form of the Zuyoist who attacked just now is unexpectedly an octopus. When he was attacked, he transformed into his huge true form. When his attack failed, he even self-detonated in anger, directly killing more than half of the poor Minister of War's family and even the Minister of War himself. Lord! Those 3 Zuyoists who are responsible for protecting the Minister of War are now in fear and trepidation. Pa! A large man with an ice-cold expression suddenly slaps one of them in the face, then says coldly, "3 people can't even defeat 1 person. You only needed to hold on for a while and we would have arrived. But you couldn't even hold on for a while. Prepare to be punished by Tower Head. Hold on. The enemy has already self-detonated. How can they hold on?" These 3 Zuyoists are also very sullen. At the same time, wanton attacks occur everywhere in the capital. Of the 25 Zuyoists who entered the capital, more than half died in the imperial palace. However, they still killed several tens eunuchs, several tens palace maids, and a concubine. The remaining 10 Zuyoists also killed several ministers and several hundreds of ordinary people. Seeing this result, Qin Yu's face becomes somewhat unsightly. Tower head, our guards are only at the Jin Dan stage. Even though we have a large number of people, we still can't kill them in one strike. If we can't kill them in one strike, the enemy's energy alone will be able to kill a great number of ordinary people. Ordinary people are too weak. Yen Rui says helplessly. Qin Yu gives a forced smile. Indeed, in a war between Zuyoists, even though he has a large number of people, the energy alone is enough to kill ordinary people. This time, a concubine and several ministers have died. As for eunuchs, palace maids and ordinary people, over 100 have died. On the city wall, strengthen the surveillance. So many Zuyoists unexpectedly broke in. From now on, strengthen the surveillance. The best way is to prevent the enemy from entering the capital. Qin Yu immediately gives an order. The death of a minister of a country, and several of them at that, will indeed have a great impact on the Qin dynasty. However, this time's attack is merely a probing attack. The real attack hasn't come yet. Chapter 188. Valley Master. According to the last news, 25 people entered the capital. When they were attacking the royal palace, one of them self-detonated and killed a powerful figure. It should be the empress or a concubine of the Qin dynasty. Yen Xin reports respectfully. Dinai's eyes immediately brighten. Are you sure? Dinai asks again. Yen Xin nodded and said, Valley Master, according to the information we received, those palace maids in the imperial palace call that woman imperial concubine. Therefore, she is either an empress or an imperial concubine. Very good. What's next? Dinai says with a hint of delight on his face. Yen Xin is startled. However, Yen Mao says, Valley Head, this is the last message. After sending it out, the captain was killed. But according to the plan, the remaining Zuyoists should be attacking the high-ranking officials in the capital and some members of the imperial clan living outside the imperial palace. Mortals are very weak. Even a casual wave of energy from a Zuyoist can kill them. Perhaps the Qin dynasty must have suffered a great loss. Very good. Dinai stands up smilingly. However, according to the situation of this battle, we can find that the Qin dynasty's defense is extremely tight. They have suffered a great loss this time, so their defenses will definitely be strengthened again. I estimate that even if we send more people, it will be very difficult to break through the surveillance of the capital city walls. Yen Xin frowned and said, Valley Master, then what should we do? Yen Xin, I've been thinking for a long time and I've come up with a wonderful method. Using mortals to fight mortals. Dinai says with a brilliant smile. Yen Xin and Yen Mao were startled. They can defend against Zuyoists, but how can they defend against mortals? As long as we control a group of mortals and let them attack, we'll definitely catch them off guard. The effect may be even better than when Zuyoists attack. Dinai says confidently. Yen Xin and Yen Mao's eyes lit up. According to the information obtained from the Ming dynasty, there are assassin organizations and intelligence organizations on the Qianlong continent. Dinai says smilingly, we need cheap pearls and agates at the bottom of the sea, but mortals like them the most. Valley Master, you mean? Yen Xin also thought of it. That's right. Let's use money and treasures to get those assassin organizations to act. Dinai says slowly, but, according to the intelligence, there are restrictions on the missions the killer organizations can take. They don't dare to kill the princes of the Qin dynasty. So, apart from that, we also need to form our own assassin organization. Build it ourselves? Yen Xin asked, puzzled. Dinai says with a nod, that's right. We'll send several tens Zuyoists to the Ming Dynasty and the Han Dynasty to show off their power in front of some Xiantian experts and attract them to join our organization. At the same time, Zuyoists can also demonstrate the power of Zuyoists to some big clans so as to win their support and even take control of some big clans. Nai's eyes flash. With the Ming Dynasty and the Han Dynasty as the foundation, we'll establish an assassin organization called Ghost. The highest goal is to kill the members of the royal family of the Qin dynasty. Nai's eyes are filled with coldness. His highest goal was to kill the members of the royal family. He had never thought of letting those mortal assassins kill Qin Yu. Valley Master is wise. Yen Xian and Yen Mao knelt down on one knee and said happily. When they heard this plan, they felt that it was very feasible. Using mortals against mortals, those Zuyoists can only use their holy sense to monitor Zuyoists. Mortals, on the other hand, are unable to monitor them. The assassin organization, Ghost. Nai laughs coldly in his mind. Qin Yu, I'm going to let your Qin clan know what Ghost means. ********* In the territory of the Ming Dynasty, one of the few experts of the Ming Dynasty, sky-lifting hand Yuan Shang, is riding a horse on an official road. It is already night time, but he is still rushing forward slowly. Stop. A cold shout is heard. Who is it? Yuan Shang's face changes color. He unexpectedly cannot sense where the person who just spoke is. I'm behind you. The cold voice rises again. Yuan Shang dismounts and turns around. His movements are extremely smooth. He does not attack because he knows that if this person could appear behind him without making any noise and wanted to kill him, he would have been killed long ago. Yuan Shang's face changes color greatly because the person in front of him is unexpectedly standing in midair. Only the legendary Shangxian can stand in midair without the help of any tools. You're a Shangxian? Yuan Shang finds this hard to believe. Yes. The strong man in cyan directly admits it. In fact, he is only a Zuyoist. I can see that your aptitude is not bad and you're already a Xiantian expert. I want to take you as my disciple. Are you willing? Hearing that a Shangxian wants to take him as his disciple, Yuan Shang is stupefied. Oh, you're not willing? The cyan-clothed man says with a frown. No, I'm willing. Disciple pays respect to you, master. Yuan Shang immediately kneels down and says, a Shangxian is a supreme existence. Countless warriors want to become a Shangxian's disciple but are unable to do so. Now that a Shangxian wants to take him as his disciple, how can Yuan Shang possibly refuse? After all, a Shangxian is simply too attractive. In just 3 months, an enormous assassin organization has been established. This assassin organization is based in the Ming Dynasty and the Han Dynasty. It has several tens of large clans with more than 100 years of history working for it. These large clans have all agreed to take their disciples as disciples because of the Shangxian. In addition, a large number of Xiantian experts have also joined this assassin organization. To be able to become a Shangxian is the dream of every top-notch warrior. Such a powerful organization with a large number of Xiantian experts naturally attracts some Hotian experts. Like a whirlwind sweeping away clouds, the power of this assassin organization naturally extends to the Qin dynasty. After 3 months, an assassin organization second only to the Skynet has been established. This assassin organization is called Yin Soul. In Prince Yu's mansion, Uncle Su, you were right at the time. In the last few months, an assassin organization has indeed emerged. Qin Yu says smilingly. After taking a foundation-building pill, Qin Yu used his own internal energy to cleanse Su Yuan's meridians and marrow and help him absorb the power of the pill. Now Su Yuan is already a Xiantian expert. His appearance is also that of a 40 or 50-year-old expert. Foundation-building pills are not something that ordinary small Xiuzhen schools can take out. They are extremely precious. Qin Yu has used some materials in the treasure-storing palace in the Nine Spirits Hall to refine quite a few foundation-building pills. A foundation-building pill and Qin Yu's personal intervention will naturally allow a mortal to become a Xiantian expert in a short while. assimilating into the mortal world and fighting against mortals as mortals. But this Deny is only a little clever. He unexpectedly used the assassin organization's method. This is the easiest way to deal with him, Su Yuan says while fanning himself with a feather fan. It seems he does not care about this at all. Qin Yu looks at Uncle Su. Don't worry. For the time being, you don't need to send out your men. Since he used mortals, my mortals will be enough to deal with him, Su Yuan says confidently while slightly fanning himself with his feather fan. Qin Yu nods smilingly. In the evening, Qin Yu is reading a book alone under the lamp when suddenly someone knocks on the door. Father, it's you. Qin Yu opens the door. Seeing that it is unexpectedly his father Qin De outside, he cannot help feeling very happy. According to Su Yuan's plan of substituting the plum tree for the peach tree, the ones living in the pure forest garden are not Qin De and Fenjiuzi. Instead, Qin De and Fenjiuzi are living in Prince Yu's mansion. Qin De nods smilingly, then looks at the book on the desk, saying with a smile, "You're still reading in the evening?" "I'm bored." Qin Yu immediately sits aside. Qin De picks up the book and reads it, Gains and Losses. This book was also written by a great Taoist master, so we can use it for reference indeed. Qin Yu says with a shake of his head, "In Zionist, power is everything. But the longer I stay in this world, the more tired I feel in my heart. Reading these books can make me feel a bit more relaxed." Qin Yu unconsciously reveals his weakness in front of his father. Qin Yu is very strong. A brat who has just arrived overseas as a Zuyuist has actually reached his current level. This is indeed an unbelievable thing. You should also take a good rest. Don't fight anymore. Qin De comforts him. Fight? Father, I don't want to fight. It's others who force me to fight. In the overseas Xiaoyao world, if others want to kill me, I have to kill them if I don't want to be killed. Qin Yu takes a deep breath. Qin De naturally understands this principle. For a while, he is speechless. I've always believed in a saying, the weak are controlled by their thoughts. As for the strong, they instead allow their actions to control their thoughts. Qin Yu's expression grew resolute. When I'm sad and in pain, I sing loudly instead. When I'm afraid, I press forward courageously. When I'm powerless, I recall my past successes and summon up my courage to work hard again. I definitely can't let my thoughts control my actions. Once I do, I'll probably be dead already. Qin Yu's eyes glitter. In the underwater Xiaoyao world, I originally didn't want to kill. But I knew that if I was soft-hearted, I definitely wouldn't be able to control my subordinates and would instead suffer a backlash. Therefore, I had to be strong and indifferent. When I was being hunted down and running for my life by myself, when I felt lonely and weak, I could only recall the happy days of the past, the days when I was together with father and brother, so that I could have the strength to continue running for my life. I believed that I'd be able to turn things around one day. Qin Yu clenches his fists so tightly that blue veins pop out. Qin Yu grabs Qin De's hand. Letting your thoughts be controlled by your actions, is this against your will? I don't know. That day, Master died and you and Uncle Feng also lost an arm. At first, I only wanted to kill Dong Feng Yu alone. But that Dong Feng Yen didn't agree. If I was soft-hearted, perhaps even more people would bully my Qin clan. Therefore, I had to go against my will. I had to be ruthless. Therefore, I massacred everyone. Qin Yu's eyes become fierce. When I was a child, the limit training made me suffer. I didn't want to train, but I forced myself. Every time I surpassed my limit, I felt carefree. It was like a rainbow after a storm. I knew that one day, Father, I'd be satisfied. Father's smile is the rainbow I yearn for the most. Qin Yu smiled. He smiled like a child. Father, the world of Zionists is really very cruel. Qin Yu sighs. Qin De only holds Qin Yu's hand, but he can't say anything. If it wasn't for Uncle Lon, I would have had to continue killing and fighting. Otherwise, even if my relatives were insulted, I wouldn't have been able to take revenge. Qin Yu says in a low voice. He is very grateful to Uncle Lon. Because of Uncle Lon, Qin Yu can relax a bit and do things according to his will. This is a world of the strong. If he, Qin Yu, is not the strongest, then he has to go against his will. Killing, indifference, coldness, bloodlust. I don't want to do it, but I have to. Whenever I'm alone, I feel heartache. But even if I feel heartache, I still have to pretend to be cold and calm in front of others. I have to pretend to smile and have a card up my sleeve. Because I'm the pavilion master, I can't panic, I can't be afraid, I can't be weak. I have to be strong. I have to be indifferent. I have to be ruthless. Qin Yu looks at his father and laughs in a low voice, almost crying, "Father, do you know that feeling?" I know. Qin Da is also heartbroken. In the past. All the time, even the experts of the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province, who have lived for several thousand years or even over 10,000 years, have to admit that Qin Yu is a character. He is strong and cold. Even if Mount Tai collapses in front of him, he will still be able to face it with a smile. Azure Dragon, Old Freak Three-Eyed, Reverend Yen Su and Ida, these experts have all spent several thousand years or even 10,000 years in this kind of environment since childhood. It is natural for them to be cold and ruthless. But Qin Yu is different. When he went to the underwater Xiaoyao world, he was only 20 years old. When he was young, he was accompanied by his relatives. In Misty Villa, he was taught by Grandpa Lien, so Qin Yu is kind-hearted and sentimental. However, the environment forced him to do so. When he was young, in order to improve his power and get his father's approval, he forced himself. In the end, he succeeded and perished together with Wu Xing. Afterwards, when he entered the underwater Xiaoyao world, he had to go against his will again to adapt to that underwater Xiaoyao world. The weak let their thoughts control their actions. The strong, on the other hand, allow their actions to control their thoughts. If these words had not been in my heart like a pillar supporting the world in my heart, perhaps, I would have been unable to bear that feeling of going against my will and collapsed long ago. Tears glitter in Qin Yu's eyes. He releases the repressed pain in his heart. This makes him basically unable to control his feelings. Qin Da looks at his son. Waves are surging in his heart. You can't hide everything in your heart, do you understand? Say it out loud. Say it to your father at home and say it to your close friends outside. You can't keep it all in your heart. Qin Yu takes a deep breath, then bursts out laughing. Father, it's my good fortune to have Uncle Lon help me. If Uncle Lon hadn't helped me, it would have been the justice of fate. But life is my own, so I have to be responsible for myself. Qin Yu stands up and opens the door of the room. In the same way, I have to continue to go against my will because I want to become a strong person. Qin Yu's voice is extremely firm. Qin Yu walks out of the room. He raises his head to look at the bright stars in the sky. But he says in his heart, because I can't tolerate my relatives being humiliated. I can't tolerate my relatives being in pain. So I have to become a strong person who can protect my relatives. Smile, be steady, cold, bloodthirsty. This is who I am. I'm weak and soft-hearted. I can only bury it in my heart. I can only. Qin Yu's expression becomes even more resolute. Chapter 189. Weak people let their thoughts control their actions. Strong people, on the other hand, let their actions control their thoughts. Against their will. Qin Yu must go on like this. Only when he stands at the top of the world and nobody can threaten him will he be able to do whatever he wants. At the door of the room, Qin Yu is quietly looking at Qin Yu, who is looking up at the starry sky in the courtyard. Qin Yu's eyes, which are looking at the stars in the sky, are incomparably firm. Suddenly, a faint smile appears on Qin Yu's face. Has Lu Xing's tear also sensed my change? No matter what happens in the future, even if the sky falls and the earth rends, I will face it calmly. Qin, you can sense the change in the energy of Lu Xing's tear. The feeling of compatibility with Lu Xing's tear seems to have deepened. In an instant, Qin Yu's state of mind has also changed. The middle stage of the Kongming stage? The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation in 5 months? Qin Yu has a faint smile on his face. His state of mind has suddenly advanced from the early stage of the Kongming stage to the middle stage of the Kongming stage. He has been waiting for the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation for a long time. At this moment, he suddenly senses that the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation will arrive in 5 months. However, Qin Yu is not wild with joy at the moment. The road ahead is still very long. All of this is just a small interlude. As for D9 of the 9 Spirits Hall, which is troubling Qin Yu right now, it is just a small fork in the road of Qin Yu's life. If Qin Yu does not want to do this, if he wants to be a weak person, won't he also be free and unfettered as long as he hides in some corner of a beautiful place to practice quietly? However, if that is really the case, perhaps when a strong person threatens the lives of his family members, he can only watch helplessly as his family members are harmed. Therefore, Qin Yu has chosen to become a strong person. He has chosen to become a strong person who can protect his family members and brothers. When he has made this decision, his path has also been decided. Fighting, bloodthirsty, indifferent, crazy, going against his will, slaughtering, scheming, dangerous. This is Qin Yu's path. This is his own choice. Naturally, he has to take responsibility for it. Who? Qin Yu's spiritual sense spread out. His spiritual sense, which had reached the middle Kongming stage, had a very wide range. The entire capital was covered by Qin Yu's spiritual sense. At this moment, Qin Yu could clearly see that, in the imperial palace, the princes were sleeping peacefully, and his brother Qin Zheng was seriously reviewing memorials. His big brother Qin Feng was quietly cultivating. It was quiet and peaceful. Qin Yu would only be satisfied with his choice when he saw his family living a peaceful and happy life. It was just like, when he was young, he practiced external martial arts for more than 10 years in order to obtain his father's praise and smile. Now, he was walking on the path of the strong. Time was so far away, but he was doing it for the smiles of his family and brothers. 1 month after Qin Yu sensed the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation, in Prince Yu's mansion, Su Yuan was playing Go with Li Er. Compared to Qin Yu's level, Su Yuan's Go skills were obviously much better. Especially after absorbing the foundation-building elixir and starting to cultivate, Su Yuan's mind was much more flexible than before. Naturally, his Go skills had also improved. Haha, Miss Li Er, I admit defeat. Miss Li Er's Go skills are really superb. Su Yuan laughed and gave up. Uncle Su, your Go skills have obviously improved. I think you're not much worse than the capital's Go saint. Li Er smiled and accepted the Go pieces. After the game, Qin Yu, Li Er and Su Yuan chatted. What, Xiao Yu, you're going to undergo the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation in 4 months? Su Yuan was shocked. He was no longer as carefree and calm as before. Qin Yu nodded and said with a smile, Uncle Su, what's wrong? It's just the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. Is it worth making such a fuss about? Li Er also looked at Qin Yu and said somewhat angrily, Qin Yu, you unexpectedly didn't tell me that you were going to undergo the tribulation. Qin Yu was startled. When Li Er called him Qin Yu instead of Big Brother Qin Yu, she was obviously angry. Given my current power, it should be very easy for me to undergo the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. Unless something special and strange happens at the end like Xiao Hei did that day. Even so, I'll still be able to go through it. Qin Yu was very confident. Li Er looked at Qin Yu for a long time then said with a sigh, Be careful, Big Brother Qin Yu. Your heavenly tribulation definitely won't be as simple as you think. Su Yuan however said, Xiao Yu, I've just thought of a plan that can easily lure that Denai out and kill him. Oh. Qin Yu's eyes brightened. He said, Uncle Su, quickly tell me. Don't hide it from me. What's the plan? I'll always feel a little uneasy as long as this Denai is still alive. Su Yuan fanned himself with his feather fan and said confidently, Xiao Yu, according to what you said, that Denai wants to kill you and Ho Fei the most because you killed his brothers. But his power is inferior to yours, so he basically has no chance at all. Therefore, you only need to leak the news of your tribulation to him. Su Yuan looked at Qin Yu confidently. Qin Yu's eyes brightened. Haha, that's right. That Denai hates me and Fei the most, but he has no chance at all. That's why he's been holed up in some place in the underwater Xiaoyao world all along. But if he knows the place and time of my tribulation, he'll definitely come. Qin Yu could be considered to have figured this Denai out. Life and death. For revenge, Denai will definitely not care about life and death. He wants to kill the Qin clan's descendants only because he wants to grieve Qin Yu. How can this be compared to personally hurting Qin Yu to vent his hatred? No. Lier, however, said coldly. Qin Yu was startled. Qin Yu, you can't be careless about this tribulation. I told you long ago that this 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation is definitely not as simple as you think. Didn't you see Xiao Hei's 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation? If Denai comes and takes advantage of your tribulation to attack you, you'll be in big trouble. Lier's eyes were full of anxiety. Qin Yu's heart warmed. Don't worry, Miss Li, I've devised this plan so naturally I won't let Xiao Yu take any risks. When the time comes, I'll let Ho Fei, who has the highest power, hide on one side. When that Denai comes, I'll let Ho Fei beat him to death. Su Yuan said calmly. Lier, however, said, Beat him to death? Even though Denai's power is inferior to Fei's, he's anxious for revenge, so he'll definitely do whatever it takes in the end. If he explodes himself, he may really affect Qin Yu. Moreover, going through the heavenly tribulation is extremely dangerous. If an accident really happens, it'll be terrible. Su Yuan was startled, then looked at Qin Yu. Xiao Yu, this plan of mine is a bit reckless, so I won't use it for the time being. Su Yuan originally thought that Qin Yu's tribulation would be extremely easy, but now, according to Lier, it seems to be extremely dangerous. If he is not careful, he may even fail the tribulation and his soul will scatter. Lier also stared at Qin Yu. All right, I won't use this plan, all right? Qin Yu said smilingly to Lier. Inside that nameless underwater mountain range, Qin Yu is going to undergo the tribulation? Denai is startled, then he suddenly grabs Yen Xian's arms and says hurriedly with wide eyes, that Qin Yu is going to undergo the tribulation. Could it be the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation? Yen Xian, you can't joke about this matter. Tell me the truth. Denai's eyes blaze as if he wants to swallow someone. Seeing Denai like this, Yen Xian hurriedly says, Valley Master, according to the news, that Qin Yu said that in 3.5 months, Qin Yu will be preparing to undergo the tribulation on the Stone Crane Island, which is relatively close to the Qianlong continent. It seems Qin Yu deliberately spread this news. Stone Crane Island in 3.5 months? Denai mumbles in a low voice, then raises his head. His eyes flash with cold light. Deliberately spread it? Of course I know that Qin Yu deliberately spread it. If he didn't spread the news about this tribulation, how could our intelligence network have known about it? Valley Master, that Qin Yu must be deliberately luring you to go there. Yen Mao says affirmatively. Denai says with a cold laugh, Of course I know that he's luring me to go there. But, if it's really him undergoing the tribulation, I have to go. Denai says coldly. Valley Master. Yen Xian and Yen Mao are greatly shocked. Denai narrows his eyes. According to the news my 3 big brothers sent me at that time, that Qin Yu is a disciple of the Qin dynasty and has been practicing for less than 100 years. However, in such a short time, he has reached such a cultivation level. If this goes on, the gap between my cultivation level and his will only grow bigger and bigger, and my hope for revenge will only grow smaller and smaller. Yen Xian and Yen Mao are silent. They have indeed learned about Qin Yu. Qin Yu has been practicing for such a short time, but his cultivation level is so high. If this goes on, the gap between Denai and Qin Yu will only grow bigger and bigger. As for that Ho Fei, he is an extraordinary divine beast. In the past my big brothers joined hands, but they were not a match for Ho Fei. According to Big Brother, Ho Fei overcame the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulations several years ago. Now his power is even more profound than at that time. I'm even less of a match for him. Valley Master, revenge is not urgent. Yen Xian and Yen Mao are worried. Denai, however, says with a cold humph, yes, it is not urgent. But I'm different. If I don't get into action now, I won't have any chance later. Yen Xian, Yen Mao, now I can only scheme against Qin Yu's relatives. Why? Because if I have to face Qin Yu and Ho Fei head-on, I won't have any hope at all. But to deal with Qin Yu's relatives, I simply can't get into action myself. Perhaps Qin Yu and Ho Fei are waiting for me in the capital. Denai laughs wildly. Haha, I want to kill Qin Yu's relatives, but I don't dare to get into action myself. I can only stay here. What's the use of staying here? Absolutely no use. I might as well fight for the only bit of hope. Yen Xian, Yen Mao. Denai suddenly stares at Yen Xian and Yen Mao. Valley Master. The two of them look at Denai. You listen to me. Even if I'm in the valley, I won't have any hope of killing Qin Yu's relatives. Therefore, from now on, you'll be in charge of the affairs of the valley. You'll be in charge of the affairs of the ghosts. Remember, kill Qin Yu's relatives. Denai's eyes redden. As for me, I'll go catch the only hope for revenge. Qin Yu set up a trap, but cleverness overreaches itself. Hasn't he heard of this saying? Even if I have to risk my life, I'll make him fail to pass the tribulation and have his soul dispersed. The two of you, swear to me that you'll definitely be in charge of the valley and kill Qin Yu's relatives. Denai stares at Yen Xian and Yen Mao. Forcing people to swear an oath is not a random oath for Zionist. Yen Xian and Yen Mao exchange a look, but facing Denai's terrifying gaze, the two of them have no choice but to swear because they know that if they don't, Denai will probably kill them directly because he has already been bedeviled. I, Yen Xian, swear to heaven that I'll definitely be in charge of the affairs of the valley and that I'll aim at killing Qin Yu's clansmen. I'll never give up. If I give up, I'll be struck by lightning and have my soul dispersed. I, Yen Mao, swear to heaven that I'll definitely be in charge of the affairs of the valley and that I'll always aim at killing Qin Yu's clansmen. I'll never give up. If I give up, I'll be struck by lightning and have my soul dispersed. The two brothers swear at the same time. Very good, very good. Seeing this scene, a satisfied smile appears on Denai's face. From now on, I'm going to undergo closed-door training to forge some secret offensive weapons. The two of you will be in charge of the affairs of the valley. When the day comes, I'll show myself. Remember, don't disturb me no matter what. Denai waves his large sleeves and leaves directly like this. Yen Xian and Yen Mao exchange a look, but they feel bitter in their hearts. Originally they had prepared to disband and live a peaceful life if Denai died one day. But now they have been forced to swear by Denai behind closed doors. They do not dare to violate their oath. In Prince Yu's mansion, Qin Yu and Ho Fei fly away directly. Qin De, Qin Feng, Qin Zheng, Li Er and the others on the ground are all watching them. Seeing Qin Yu leave, Li Er shakes her head helplessly. However, she thinks to herself, Big brother Qin Yu, you still spread the news. I didn't expect you to be willing to take risks in order to kill Denai. But with Fei on one side and that, there shouldn't be any problem. I hope the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation won't cause too much trouble. Qin Yu and Ho Fei fly side by side. Fei, when we get to the Stone Crane Island, spread out your holy sense at all times. If that Denai appears, beat him to death directly for me. Even though I'm not afraid of him, I always feel that what Li Er said is right. The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation may exceed my expectations. Qin Yu's expression is solemn. Don't worry, big brother. No matter what happens, I won't let that Denai touch you at all. Ho Fei says confidently. Qin Yu also gives a smile. In fact, Qin Yu has never taken Di Nai seriously. If it were Di Long or Di Jian, he would have to pay a bit of attention to him. But for Di Nai, the degree of danger naturally decreases. Moreover, Ho Fei has crossed the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. Even if Di Long and Di Jian come in person, they will still be finished off in one blow. The reason why Xiao Hei did not come this time is that he was forced by Qin Yu to protect Qin De and the others. He is worried that Di Nai will take advantage of the fact that the experts in the capital are weak and attack the capital instead. That will be terrible. After flying out of the Qianlong continent and heading south for a while, they see an uninhabited island. There is a naturally formed mountain peak on this island, which looks very much like a crane. Therefore, it is called the Stone Crane Island. This island is also the place where Qin Yu has chosen to undergo the tribulation. Chapter 190. Jia. The stone door opens. A gloomy and cold aura spreads out. Di Nai walks out of the private room like this. At the moment, he has a bit more coldness and a bit more killing intent than he did before he went in. His entire aura alone causes people to feel fear. Valley Master. Yen Xian and Yen Mao immediately say respectfully. In the past few days, they have been waiting for Di Nai to come out of closed-door training. After all, they also know that Qin Yu will undergo his tribulation within a day or two. Yen Xian, Yen Mao, tell those 6 guardians to come here. Di Nai gives an ice-cold order directly. Yes. In just a while, the 6 guardians of the valley have arrived in front of Di Nai. All of them appear very respectful. Today, I'm going to leave the valley to go kill that Qin Yu. As soon as Di Nai opens his mouth, the 6 guardians are greatly startled. However, he continues with a cold expression, and the 6 of you just have to listen to the orders of the 2 deputy valley masters. Everything is for the purpose of killing the Qin clan's descendants. The 6 great protectors immediately responded respectfully. Di Nai, however, says with a cold laugh, "When I go, it's hard to say whether I'll live or die. You've complied like this, but I don't feel at ease. Swear an oath here. If you don't need to think too much about your fate." The 6 guardians are very frightened, so they all swear an oath at once. Bound by the oath, they do not dare to violate it at will. Very good. Remember, if anyone betrays you, the others can kill him. Di Nai laughs nervously several times, then disappears in front of everybody with a movement of his body. The 6 guardians and the 2 deputy valley masters look at each other but do not know what to say. Di Nai is waiting calmly under the water far away from the Stone Crane Island. Qin Yu, I've consumed a great deal of materials to make so many offensive talismans and spirit tablets. I'd like to see how you'll undergo your tribulation alive. At the bottom of the sea, Di Nai's eyes are very gloomy and cold. In the past, he was at the middle Dongshu stage. Motivated by hatred, he unexpectedly broke through that limit and reached the late Dongshu stage. This is also a trump card for his revenge this time. The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation, Big Brother Qin Yu's tribulation. I hope there won't be too big a mistake. Lier is walking back and forth in her room with a frown. At the moment she is also unable to feel at ease. On the Stone Crane Island, originally, the sun was high in the sky and the sky was blue. However, in an instant, the sky seemed to have dropped down by a layer. The sky several thousand miles above the Stone Crane Island was completely dark red, with the Stone Crane Island as the center. Qin Yu, who was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, opened his eyes and looked up. The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation is about to begin. Qin Yu stood up and focused all his attention on the heavenly tribulation. A gale suddenly rose, and the waves around the Stone Crane Island surged violently. The waves were tens of meters high, close to 100 meters high, and hit every corner of the Stone Crane Island. Rumble, 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 as if heavenly thunder was rumbling, the sound of the whole world was completely chaotic. Countless electric snakes danced in the dark red sky. Suddenly, swish. The sound of people inhaling could be heard in the sky. Suddenly, the gale disappeared, and the waves calmed down. In just a short while, the surroundings of the Stone Crane Island had become so quiet that it was cute. There were no waves at all. All the lightning had disappeared, because in the span of a breath, all the lightning had been absorbed by the tribulation cloud. A purplish-black tribulation cloud. Big brother, last time when I underwent the tribulation cloud was not so black. Moreover, the speed at which it absorbed the lightning was not so fast either. It seems a bit abnormal. Be careful. Ho Fei warned Di Fui from afar. Qin Yu nodded and took a look at the 6 pieces of defensive wood around his feet. At the moment, the defensive formation had not been activated. Good steel should be used on steel blades. Of course, this defensive formation, the best one, should be used until the final 6th tribulation of the heavenly thunder. Fei, pay attention to me with your holy sense. As soon as you find any trace of that Denai, kill him immediately. Your mission is to kill Denai. Don't be distracted. Qin Yu said through his holy sense. Afterwards, he himself also began to prepare for the heavenly thunder. Each of the 6 waves of heavenly thunder was more powerful than the one before. Qin Yu naturally used his body to resist the smallest wave of heavenly thunder. If his body could not even resist the first wave of heavenly thunder, Qin Yu would not have had to resist the remaining 5 waves of heavenly thunder. Boom! A huge purple heavenly thunder that was as thick as a water tank smashed down on Qin Yu's body. In an instant, Qin Yu's entire body was bathed in the heavenly thunder. Like a god of thunder and lightning, he was not injured at all. Awesome, awesome, this feels really awesome. Qin Yu narrowed his eyes in great enjoyment. Ordinary thunderbolts would have no destructive power to Qin Yu's body at all, but this first wave of heavenly thunder made Qin Yu's entire body feel numb. This kind of feeling was even more comfortable than a massage. 6 waves of heavenly thunder. The first wave should be weak, but it's really too weak. Qin Yu muttered. Even though he was muttering, Qin Yu still did not dare to lower his guard. After all, when the tribulation cloud was formed at the beginning, the thunderbolts gathered too quickly. Moreover, the tribulation cloud was so purple that it was almost black. Obviously, its energy had already reached a terrifying level. Boom! The second wave of heavenly thunder struck again. Qin Yu still directly used his body to resist it. Beams of electric snakes stimulated every part of his body like tiny needles. Qin Yu could not help but shrink all the pores on his body. The electric current passed through his muscles and directly penetrated into every part of his body. Qin Yu's muscles were directly tempered by the heavenly thunder. Unexpectedly, he had never thought of this before. The first 5 waves of heavenly thunder were actually so powerful. Before transcending the tribulation, Li Er reminded him once. Qin Yu had also seen Ho Fei and Xiao He transcend their 6 in 9 heavenly tribulations. Although Xiao Hei's last heavenly thunderstrike was terrifying, it did not take away Xiao Hei's life. As for the first 5 waves of heavenly thunder, compared to Xiao He and Ho Fei's, it seemed weaker. What's going on? This is simply inexplicable. The 5th wave of heavenly thunder only completed the heavenly thunder body tempering effect that Master mentioned. According to the plan, the 3rd wave of heavenly thunder should have achieved that effect. Qin Yu frowned and thought to himself. He had used the purple gold as liquid to refine many talismans and set up a large array. However, up until now, Qin Yu had directly resisted the 5th wave of heavenly thunder with his body. Not good. Qin Yu's face suddenly changed greatly. He suddenly thought of a possibility. Heavenly tribulation generally consumed all the energy in the tribulation cloud. He and Ho Fei both sensed that the energy in the black tribulation cloud was much greater than that of Xiao He and Ho Fei's tribulation. With so much energy, the first 5 waves of heavenly thunder were not very powerful. In other words, the energy consumed was not much. The energy consumed in the first 5 waves was not much. In other words, there was a lot of energy left. The remaining energy formed the 6th wave of heavenly thunder. How terrifying would that be? Villainous heavens! What are you playing at? These 6 waves of heavenly thunder, each wave is stronger than the previous one. However, the difference should not be too great. You are actually conserving energy. The first 5 waves were so weak. You saved the energy for the 6th wave. Then the 6th wave of heavenly thunder. Qin Yu only had a bad feeling. No wonder Li Er reminded him time and time again. Qin Yu did not have the time to scold her. Qin Yu's finger shook immediately. A drop of blood flew out from his chest. Then, he activated the 6 origin defensive wood array. At the same time, he fused his essence blood. This large array was easier to control. Its power also increased slightly. 12 thunder break talismans. Hopefully, it will have some effect. If there is no other way, I can only use my last move. Qin Yu had also prepared a lot of backup moves. Chi-Chi. The tribulation cloud seemed to be tempered. A flame actually emerged from the tribulation cloud. Then, the tribulation cloud began to shrink. At the same time, electric snakes began to flicker in the tribulation cloud. However, under the burning of the flame, the tribulation cloud continued to shrink. Even God is helping me. Judging from the momentum of this heavenly tribulation, the 6th wave of heavenly thunder will definitely be extraordinarily powerful. Qin Yu, it's hard to say whether you can withstand the 6th wave of heavenly thunder. With this attack of mine, you're dead for sure. Dean I is watching the distant sky from below the water surface. Everything in the sky is under his observation. It's about time. Dean I's body suddenly rushes extremely fast in the direction of the Stone Crane Island. Whiz! The tribulation cloud suddenly shrinks. However, it turns into a purplish-black thunderbolt. In short, it should be a kind of cyan thunderbolt after being mixed. This light cyan thunderbolt is very thin, only as thick as 2 fingers. It is even smaller than a wrist. Such an extremely thin light cyan thunderbolt strikes down at Qin Yu's head from the sky. The flaming sword has already flown out of the formation. At the moment, the flaming sword is shining brightly, charging straight at that light cyan thunderbolt. As soon as the flaming sword and the extremely thin light cyan thunderbolt touch each other, the flaming sword unexpectedly shatters completely with a bang like glass being smashed by a hammer. The extremely thin light cyan thunderbolt is hardly damaged at all. Pooh! Qin Yu immediately spurts out a mouthful of blood from his mouth. His face flushes. Damn God, you're playing with me. Qin Yu curses furiously in his mind. However, all of his attention is focused on his body. The flaming sword has only touched his top-grade holy weapon for a short while, yet it has been destroyed just like that. Even though his power is not high, but this is only a 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. Such a powerful force is really too terrifying. Pang! That extremely thin light cyan thunderbolt hits the protective shield formed by the 6 sources defensive wood formation. Flashes of light can be seen. The light cyan thunderbolt and the 6 green pieces of defensive wood shine together. However, the energy of the shield fluctuates extremely fast. After holding on for a breath, the shield shatters. The light cyan thunderbolt has already become a bit purplish in color. However, this one breath's time was enough for Qin Yu to perform that move. He has already thrown out the 12 thunder talismans. Mother Fasterus Kerr, I'm going all out. Qin Yu does not care about anything else. So what if his power is greatly damaged? He can't care about anything else. Qin Yu shouts in his mind. In an instant, his entire body is wrapped in golden light. At this moment, Qin Yu turns into a golden man. At the same time, the entire Stone Crane Island vibrates. Under Qin Yu's feet. Rumble, the rocks under his feet shatter. From the bottom of the sea below the island, a blazing flame rushes out just like that. This is the star core flame from the depths of the earth. Star domain, star core flame. Qin Yu shouts in his mind. As if it is burning, the star core flame from the bottom of the earth directly wraps around Qin Yu. He directly forms a palm with both hands and attacks upwards. At this moment, that thunderbolt has just broken the 6 sources defensive wood formation. It directly collides with Qin Yu's all-out attack. Qin Yu's palms are facing forward. A thick golden beam of light shoots out directly from Qin Yu's palms. At the same time, that golden beam of light also wraps around the star core flame from the bottom of the earth. Pang! The two of them collide. Boom! 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 The entire stone crane island explodes. Qin Yu, prepare to die. A loud shout through clenched teeth resounds through the entire island. Deny grasps the opportunity very well. When the sixth thunderbolt strikes down, he also charges over. Deny waves his hands and a large number of talismans and jade tablets shoot out. Explosions, explosions again and again. Ho Fei is greatly shocked. So many talismans and jade tablets with such great power. How many treasures must he have used? Ho Fei, however, does not know that Deny has used up almost half of the treasures in the Nine Spirits Hall for this. Kaka, die now. With a movement of his body, Ho Fei arrives in front of Deny directly. That black stick descends directly from the sky and smashes at Deny's head. Deny's face is ferocious. He guessed early on that this is a trap, but he has no choice but to come. This is his only hope. Ah! In an instant, Deny's entire body directly turns into a huge purple demon aquatic dragon. That huge purple demon aquatic dragon is not only extremely long but also extremely thick. Ho Fei's black stick smashes directly at the purple demon aquatic dragon's waist. The purple demon aquatic dragon twists its waist and tries its best to dissipate the force of the attack. However, its dragon scales are still shattered and blood flows out from them. Take another stick. Ho Fei brandishes his stick again and smashes at it. Deny suddenly utters a dragon roar. A golden beam of light shoots straight at Qin Yu from his mouth. It stops abruptly. The sixth thunderbolt collides with Qin Yu's most powerful attack and unexpectedly stops for a moment. At that moment, it seems the whole world has stopped. Time has stopped. However, boom! The golden beam of light shatters. The underground core flame splashes everywhere. The thunderbolt, which has turned into a purple-black color, bombards Qin Yu's raised palms. At the moment, Qin Yu is wearing the flaming gloves on his hands, which are glittering with dazzling light. His star power has already reached its limit. However, at the same time, a flying sword shoots at him. Pang! Qin Yu tries his best to resist the thunderbolt with both hands. Thanks to the flaming gloves and the star power, he unexpectedly causes the thunderbolt to stop again. Poof! Qin Yu has no time to dodge. The flying sword pierces through his chest. Right at this moment, Qin Yu's star power inside his body shakes because the flaming gloves have not been penetrated by the star power, so they are unexpectedly shattered into pieces. Qin Yu's hands and arms are also directly charred black. Die! Seeing this scene, the furious Ho Fei directly enters a berserk state and turns into a giant. Holding a huge black stick in his hand, he smashes it at the purple demon aquatic dragon with brute force. However, at this moment, another golden beam of light shoots out from the aquatic dragon's mouth. Pang! Ho Fei is so furious that the huge black stick smashes the purple demon aquatic dragon directly into meat paste. Blood flows all over the ground. The purple demon aquatic dragon's physical body is now deader than dead. However, the golden beam of light that shot out of the dragon's mouth just now is a small Yuanying holding a short sword. This Yuanying is Deny's Yuanying. The short sword is a top-grade holy weapon. For this revenge, even though Deny already had a top-grade holy weapon, he still forged another top-grade holy weapon with his own top-grade crystals. No matter what, he must kill Qin Yu. Whiz! A Yuanying riding a sword is much faster than a human riding a sword. However, just now Ho Fei has smashed the purple demon aquatic dragon's body with his black stick. By the time he notices the Yuanying, it is already too late. Qin Yu, die! Deny's eyes are blazing. His entire Yuanying starts to burn. His speed has reached its limit. Even if Ho Fei tries desperately, he cannot catch up with Deny's current speed. Turning into a dazzling Yuanying, Deny's entire body collides with Qin Yu. However, at this moment, that purple-black thunderbolt has already shattered Qin Yu's hands. His arms are charred black and his whole body is covered with blood. D9's Yuanying self-detonation, the last stab of the top-grade holy weapon and the attack of the purple-black thunderbolt finally lead to a terrifying explosion. Boom! The explosion is so loud that the small stone crane island is unexpectedly blown apart completely. Ocean waves sweep over the entire stone crane island at once. Gravel splashes everywhere. However, there is no trace of the explosion at all. Big brother! Ho Fei shouts at the top of his voice, then spreads out his holy sense madly to search carefully. Chapter 191. At the moment, Ho Fei's face is full of anxiety. His heart is full of hatred and anger. He still remembers that at that time he patted his chest and promised Qin Yu that he would definitely be able to kill D9 easily and would never let D9 hurt Qin Yu in the slightest. However, in the end he was careless and underestimated the opponent's determination. In fact, this cannot be blamed on Ho Fei because normally when people fight each other, it is impossible for them to have yuanying out of their bodies immediately before the fight. Normally, people will only have yuanying out of their bodies to flee for their lives when they know they are going to lose. But this time, D9 has already had yuanying out of his mouth even before he has transformed into the purple demon aquatic dragon to fight against Ho Fei. Only when Ho Fei destroys D9's physical body with a blow of his stick does he discover that D9 has already had yuanying out of his body. The most important thing is that D9 has gone too far. He has directly ignited his yuanying and charged at Qin Yu as fast as he can. He has yuanying out of his sword and ignited his yuanying. Even Ho Fei cannot catch up with him at such a speed. He can only look on helplessly at that world-shaking explosion. Big brother, big brother. Ho Fei shouts loudly with an anxious expression. At the same time, he spreads out his holy sense to search carefully. However, no matter how hard he searches, he cannot find Qin Yu at all. In fact, the speed at which Ho Fei's soul cultivation increases is not very fast and cannot be compared with Qin Yu's. Water splashes on that shattered island. Many trees are broken and their branches float on the surface of the water. It is a scene of devastation. And Ho Fei was standing on this island that had been completely destroyed. Glittering and translucent tears flicker in the corners of Ho Fei's eyes. He clenches his fists tightly. Boom! Ho Fei dives into the water. After a while, he comes up from several tens of li away. Afterwards, he looks around then dives into the water again. For a while, Ho Fei keeps searching on the water and under the water. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. For a total of 6 hours, Ho Fei continuously went into and out of the water like this. He continued to search carefully. However, everything he did was in vain. Pang! Water splashed everywhere as a figure emerged. It was Ho Fei. Ho Fei's eyelashes were full of water droplets, and he was constantly gasping for breath. However, he still looked around, but there was only the vast ocean around him. Occasionally, there would be broken branches floating, but there was no one. Big brother, where did you go? Ho Fei stood on the surface of the water and muttered in a low voice. After the explosion, even if Qin Yu was dead, there should be a corpse. Why was there no corpse? Could it be that his body was reduced to ashes by the explosion? Ho Fei did not believe this result. Drip, drip. Ho Fei's hands slowly dropped drops of blood into the water. Ho Fei clenched his fists so tightly that his fingernails pierced his palms. However, Ho Fei did not notice it at all. Instead, he clenched his fists even harder. In Prince Yu's mansion of the Qin dynasty, Father Qin Zheng says to Qin De with a bow. Qin De raises his head to take a look then squeezes out a faint smile, saying, "It's you, Zheng. Has the border between the Ming dynasty and our Qin dynasty been peaceful recently?" "It has been peaceful. The Ming dynasty is very well behaved now." "Right, Father. Isn't Xiao Yu going to undergo the tribulation? Have you succeeded in crossing the tribulation? Is there any news?" Qin Zheng asks Qin De. "No news, but he'll definitely succeed. Qin De says very certainly. Yes, he'll definitely succeed. Qin Zheng says with a nod. However, even though the two of them say so, they are not completely sure at the bottom of their hearts. As long as Qin Yu does not come back, they will not feel at ease. Miss Li is chatting with her maid Shui. However, as they chat, Li suddenly stares blankly. Miss, what's wrong with you? Shui asks while shaking Li's arm with her almond eyes. Ah. Li wakes up with a start, then says hurriedly, It's nothing, it's nothing. I just thought of something. Shui winks mischievously and says, He, are you thinking of His Highness? Nonsense. Li says indignantly, but her face cannot help blushing slightly. I'm talking nonsense, I'm talking nonsense. Is this okay? Shui says with a laugh. Li smiles, but in her heart she is praying, Big brother Qin Yu, nothing must happen to you. You must succeed in overcoming the tribulation and come back safely. Hou Fei sits with legs crossed on the surface of the water and waits quietly. His face is as calm as an ancient well, looking like a rock sculpture. Pang! Suddenly there is a sound, and at the same time the water splashes in all directions. The calm surface of the sea ripples for a moment. Hou Fei's eyes, which have been closed this whole time, suddenly open and look towards the source of the sound. A figure faintly appears amidst the splashes of water. That familiar figure, that familiar smile, and that familiar gaze. Big brother. Hou Fei suddenly stands up. Fei. Qin Yu smiles and moves to Hou Fei's side. At this moment, Hou Fei is so excited that his eyes are red. He fiercely hugs Qin Yu. Wonderful. Ah, wonderful. I thought you. Hou Fei pauses in surprise. Speak, where did you hide? Hou Fei returns to his usual self, one hand on his waist, the other holding the black stick as he looks at Qin Yu. Hide? I didn't hide, Qin Yu says with a smile. You didn't hide? How is that possible? Hou Fei curls his lips. Big brother, you should know that I turned the sky and the earth upside down to look for you in the surrounding several thousand li. I thought you were killed by the last heavenly thunderbolt and Deni's desperate attack. How can your big brother be so useless? Qin Yu says laughingly. But then Qin Yu restrains his expression. Fei, but this time it was really very dangerous. Recalling the sixth heavenly thunderbolt and Deni's self-detonation, Qin Yu still has some lingering fear. That strange sixth heavenly thunderbolt. Its power is probably greater than any sixth heavenly thunderbolt in history. Even though he has not seen all the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulations in history, Qin Yu still thinks so. The main reason is that this sixth heavenly tribulation is really too strange and too unbelievable. The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulations of divine beasts in general are much more powerful than those of Xiaxianists and Xiamoists. Hou Fei's and Xiao Hei's 6 in 9 heavenly tribulations should be extremely formidable. However, Qin Yu's 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation absorbed an extremely large amount of thunderbolt energy from the very beginning, so that it absorbed more energy than Xiao Hei's and Hou Fei's. The most important thing is that the first 5 heavenly thunderbolts are not very powerful, even much weaker than those of Hou Fei's and Deni's. The excess energy is all gathered in the 6th heavenly thunderbolt. What is this called? It seems that God is deliberately tormenting Qin Yu by deliberately controlling the energy of the 6th heavenly thunderbolt. If the power of each heavenly thunderbolt increases gradually according to a certain proportion, Qin Yu will definitely be able to withstand it safely. However, in Qin Yu's 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation this time, more than half of the energy of the first 5 heavenly thunderbolts has been saved and gathered in the 6th heavenly thunderbolt. Murder, this is simply murder. When Qin Yu thinks of this, he cannot understand it. Could it be that God is jealous of him? Deni's final self-detonation indeed made things worse for Qin Yu. Originally, he had used up the flaming sword, the flaming gloves, the 12 talismans and the 6 origins defensive wood formation. The power of the heavenly thunderbolts has weakened a lot, so Qin Yu's hands have been blown up and his arms have been charred black. The heavenly thunderbolts can only seriously injure Qin Yu at most. They cannot do anything to Qin Yu. However, D9's flying sword pierced through Qin Yu's chest and D9's Yuanying self-detonated in front of Qin Yu. As a result, Qin Yu's chest was unexpectedly blown up, leaving a big hole in it. And the place where the explosion happened to be was the place where Lu Xing's tear. Qin Yu will always remember that brilliant light full of vitality when he was blown into the bottom of the water. With the help of Lu Xing's tear, Qin Yu healed his physical injuries. At the same time, he also fused the 9 stars into one, breaking through the Lu Xing stage and stepping into the early core stage. I was really lucky to be able to survive the tribulation this time, very lucky. Qin Yu says with a sigh. If the heavenly thunderbolts were a bit more powerful, or in other words, if he did not have the 6 Origins defensive wood formation, the heavenly thunderbolts would definitely have been able to blow up Qin Yu's physical body. If that had happened, not only would the physical body have been blown up, perhaps the 9 golden stars in Qin Yu's dantian would have also exploded. When the physical body has been blown up, will Lu Xing's tear still be able to protect his soul? Qin Yu does not know. Big brother, that mixed-haired bird, sisterly heir and your royal father have already messaged me several times, asking whether you succeeded in overcoming the tribulation or not. I only said, I haven't. I've been giving them perfunctory answers. Ho Fei says smilingly. Now he is also relaxed. When Qin Yu thinks of his relatives, his heart immediately moves. Then he says with a smile, let's go, Fei. At this moment, in Qin Yu's dantian, there is only a golden ball the size of a ping-pong ball. The power of the stars in this golden ball is purer and more vigorous than the golden stars in the beginning. A golden star power runs through Qin Yu's body. Suddenly, Qin Yu's entire body turns into a golden rainbow and flies directly towards the north. Big brother, you don't have any spiritual weapons. How can you still be so fast? Ho Fei is astonished. During the tribulation, both of Qin Yu's spiritual weapons were damaged. Logically speaking, without a spiritual weapon, Qin Yu's speed should not be as fast as Ho Fei's black stick. However, after Qin Yu's power reached the early stage of the core star realm, his speed is comparable to Ho Fei's when he is merely flying. Fei, I don't have a spiritual weapon now. Wait until I refine a spiritual weapon. I will let you know my true speed. As Qin Yu and Ho Fei are talking, the two of them fly towards the Qianlong continent. After Qin Yu and Ho Fei return to Prince Yu's mansion, a large group of people have been waiting for Qin Yu, his father, as well as his big brother and second brother. There is also Li Er, Fenjiuzi, Su Yuan and the others who have been worried about him. In order to calm everyone down, Qin Yu did not tell them the danger of the tribulation completely. He only told them part of it. The hall of Prince Yu's mansion is naturally luxurious and luxurious. There are paintings and carved beams. All kinds of decorations are even more dazzling. At this moment, a grand banquet is being held in the hall. It is being prepared for Qin Yu to successfully pass the tribulation. The people who are attending the banquet are some of the people who are closest to Qin Yu. His father, brothers, Uncle Su and the others. Moreover, a special person has also come, Uncle Lon. Big brother, this matter is a bit strange. Xiao Hei has a human body and an eagle head. He is dressed in black. He crosses his arms in front of his chest and says calmly, in my memory, there has never been such a strange 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation. Heavenly tribulations. Ziationists all know that each tribulation is more formidable than the previous one. However, it is impossible for the latter tribulation to be so much more formidable than the former one. But big brother, in your 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation, the first 5 heavenly thunders were unexpectedly very weak. All the energy is concentrated in the 6th heavenly thunders. The 6th heavenly thunders are terrifyingly powerful. This is simply impossible, and it shouldn't have happened. Kurowa's sharp eagle eyes are constantly flickering with light. No one knows what he is thinking. Ho Fei nods his head. Everyone else is the same. However, Li Er is deep in thought. Her brows are tightly knitted. Uncle Lon also frowns slightly. The 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation is so strange. Forget it. What can I do when the heavens send such a tribulation? I can only accept it. Don't think about it any more. It is useless. Come, let's drink. Qin Yu raises his wine cup and says smilingly to everybody. Li Er, why aren't you raising your cup? Qin Yu looks at Li Er. Li Er is startled, then looks at Qin Yu. The look in her eyes, however, confuses Qin Yu. Is it sincerity? Is it guilt? Or affection? Qin Yu is unexpectedly unable to distinguish the look in Li Er's eyes. He cannot help laughing at himself. Affection? Perhaps it is because he thinks too highly of himself. Big brother Qin Yu, did D9 launch a sneak attack when you underwent the tribulation? Li Er looks at Qin Yu without a trace of a smile. This. For the moment, Qin Yu does not know what to say. There is a hint of anger in Li Er's eyes. Big brother Qin Yu, I know these words should be said by your father. But I have to say that undergoing the tribulation is extremely important and also extremely dangerous. You can ignore other things, but undergoing the tribulation is definitely not a joke. If you want to kill D9, you can't take advantage of the tribulation. You should know that once you make a mistake, you will probably fail the tribulation. Hearing Li Er say so, Qin Yu instead feels warmth in his heart. Don't worry. I won't do it again. Qin Yu looks into Li Er's eyes and says affirmatively. It's good that you won't. Uncle Lon, however, says. Xiao Yu, this time 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation is definitely not a coincidence. Others are not like this, but why are you like this? There must be some special reason. If the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation is like this, the 9 in 9 heavenly tribulation will definitely not be so simple. You have to be careful when undergoing the tribulation later. Yes, Uncle Lon. Qin Yu will definitely take Uncle Lan's words to heart. Uncle Lon says again, I know that in a while, you'll go to the chaotic astral ocean to open the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. Uncle Lon, how do you know? Qin Yu is shocked. Only those people knew the address of the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion at that time. He has never told Uncle Lon about it. You don't need to ask about this. I also know that with a jade sword, 2 people can go. Of the 2 people sent by your stellar tower, I think only you and Li Er will go. It'll be very beneficial for you if Li Er goes. Uncle Lon says indifferently. Qin Yu is extremely shocked in his heart. Uncle Lon, Li Er can protect herself. Don't worry. Li Er is protected by my clan's magic treasure. As long as it's not a celestial immortal level expert, they won't be able to hurt her. You just need to take care of yourself. Uncle Lon says directly. Chapter 192. In the back garden of Prince Yu's mansion in the capital of the Qin dynasty, there is a huge pavilion. It is Lei Mountain House. In the crafting room on the first floor of Lei Mountain House, Qin Yu is sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, motionless. In front of him is the huge 8 trigrams furnace. Deep cyan flames are burning in the 8 trigrams furnace, making the whole crafting room hot. Only Qin Yu's side is still very cool. On the right side of Qin Yu is a pile of crystals. There are at least 100 of them, and all of them are top-grade crystals. Qin Yu opens his eyes and takes a look at the pile of crystals. His eyes are full of smiles. Master is really too much. He has more than half of the storeroom full of all kinds of top-grade crystals, but he told me to lift the restriction only after I reached the core star stage. In the storeroom of Lei Mountain House, more than half of the storeroom was filled with top-grade crystal stones. The number of top-grade crystal stones was astonishing. There were at least 10,000 of them. Qin Yu has always coveted them. Qin Yu didn't have the right to use them until he passed the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation and reached the core star stage. In the past, I always complained that I didn't have enough top-grade crystals, so I couldn't forge holy weapons that were too good. Now that I have so many top-grade crystals, I should be able to forge a top-notch top-grade holy weapon. Qin Yu mutters. The stellar transformations absorbs the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, so it is innately blazing. The stellar fire is light cyan at the beginning. It should be known that the fire of ordinary Xiaxianists and Xiamoists is light red at the beginning. From light red, red, deep red, then light cyan, cyan, and deep cyan. These 6 stages correspond to Jin Dan, Yuanying, Dongshu, Kongming, Dujie, and Dashang respectively. Qin Yu's stellar fire is due to the uniqueness of the stellar transformations technique. At the nebula stage, it was light cyan. Qin Yu had reached the level of a deep cyan true fire. However, the difference between light cyan, cyan, and deep cyan true fire was actually not that great if one used their spiritual sense to discern it. Lu Xing's early stage, Lu Xing's middle stage, and Lu Xing's late stage were all known as cyan flames. In fact, the cyan flames would gradually deepen. When one reached the late stage of Lu Xing and the early stage of the core realm, the cyan flames would only deepen slightly. The boundary between cyan and dark cyan, as well as the word dark, was actually blurry. Nebula stage, Lu Xing stage, star core stage, planet stage, tribulation stage, star stage. The star real fire corresponded to light cyan, cyan, dark cyan, light purple, purple, and dark purple respectively. This was also the reason why Qin Yu's master, Lei Wei, dared to say that he was the #1 refining expert in the world of self-cultivators. After all, the true fire in his body was several levels higher than that of ordinary self-cultivators. Supreme Grade Spirit Weapon. Can it still be called a Supreme Grade Spirit Weapon in the past? Qin Yu laughed at himself. Immediately, he waved one hand and the golden power of the stars shot out, piercing into several holes at the edge of the 8 trigrams furnace. Then, Qin Yu made several hand seals with both hands and smashed them at the 8 trigrams furnace. Immediately, the 8 trigrams furnace lit up. Chi. The deep cyan flames in the 8 trigrams furnace actually contained a trace of light purple. Qin Yu's face had a trace of a smile. It was precisely because he had so many crystals of the highest quality that Qin Yu dared to use such a method to refine. With a trace of the light cyan flames, the burning power of the weapon was much stronger. In the past, 2 or 3 crystals of the highest quality could be used to refine a supreme-grade spirit weapon. But now, it was estimated that dozens of crystals of the highest quality would be barely enough. Qin Yu waved his hand and 6 crystals of different colors flew out from the pile of crystals beside him. Then, they formed a hexagonal shape and flew to the top of the 8 trigrams furnace. Under the burning of the true fire wrapped in a trace of light purple flames, the 6 crystals of the highest quality shrank rapidly. After a while, they turned into 6 small lumps. Qin Yu waved one hand repeatedly and 16 scarlet crystals of the highest quality flew out, wrapping around one of the lumps above the 8 trigrams furnace. Then, Qin Yu waved his hand again and another 16 golden crystals of the highest quality flew out, wrapping around another small lump. Scarlet, golden, cyan, azure blue, earthy gray, and black. Each lump was wrapped by 16 crystals of the highest quality. Then, Qin Yu's expression turned solemn. He made several hundred hand seals in succession and all the talismans on the surface of the 8 trigrams furnace lit up. Black essence. Combine. Qin Yu utters a low shout. The several hundred hand seals turn into a mass of illusory light which envelopes those top-grade crystals in an instant. Being slowly burned by a faint purple flame, those hand seals and the crystals undergo some special changes, as if they have fused together. End of B10C9. Using the energy of the 5 elements as the foundation and darkness as the main element, I don't know if it will succeed. Qin Yu didn't have much confidence at the moment. Once the refinement was successful, He Yuan could transform into all kinds of weapons. It could be hard or soft, and it could change into thousands of forms. However, according to Lei Wei's description, the success rate of the refinement was relatively low, only about 1/3. Moreover, it required a large number of the highest quality crystals of the 5 elements. Who could afford it? Moreover, if it failed once, the loss would be too great. After a long time, a mass of black liquid was constantly rolling above the 8 trigrams furnace. It's done. Qin Yu was overjoyed. The black essence has been completed. This weapon is naturally easy. The refining process of the black essence was the most important. If it failed, then the 5 elements would be unbalanced and an explosion would occur. The 100 pieces of the highest quality crystals would be completely wasted. It wasn't something that could be melted and refined again after the refining process. Once the black essence, which was the black liquid, was successfully refined, the spirit weapon could naturally be easily refined. From now on, Qin Yu would no longer use a simple flying sword. His weapon was an ever-changing black weapon. After going through many processes, the black essence could finally transform into a flying sword, a glove, a long spear, or a huge axe. It could transform into all kinds of weapons. Although the black origin was as sharp as an ordinary supreme-grade spirit weapon, other supreme-grade spirit weapons consumed 1 or 2 supreme-grade crystals, but the black origin consumed 100 supreme-grade crystals. The only difference was that it had an additional transformation function. There was still half a year before the gathering day on the Golden Tree Island. This day, under the blessings of Ho Fei, Kuro, their father, eldest brother, second brother, and Uncle Lon, Qin Yu and Li Er left the Qianlong continent and flew towards the south at an extremely fast speed. This time, they were going to the chaotic Astral Ocean, which was extremely far away. Li Er flew easily in the air, her long hair fluttering in the wind. Qin Yu stood on a black cloud and flew at an extremely fast speed. "Big brother Qin Yu, your black cloud is really strange," Li Er exclaimed. With a thought, Qin Yu turned the black cloud into a black flying sword. Qin Yu stepped on the flying sword and flew up. "Hey, big brother Qin Yu, you refined this weapon in Lei Mountain House? It's really rare. I've never seen other Xiationists use this kind of weapon. How did you refine it?" Li Er was surprised. Qin Yu said with a smile, "This is a secret method of my sect. I used 100 pieces of the highest quality crystals to refine it successfully. However, after refining it successfully, it can transform into all kinds of weapons." 100 pieces of the highest quality crystals? Li Er shook her head. "It doesn't seem worth it to refine it with so many of the highest quality crystals." "Li Er, you're wrong. It can transform into all kinds of weapons." "Why do you say it's not worth it?" Qin Yu said with a smile. He was very fond of his new weapon. Li Er said with a bright smile, "Big brother Qin Yu, nearly 100 pieces of the highest quality crystals can be refined into dozens of the highest quality spirit weapons. With so many of them, what kind of spirit weapons can't you refine? If you drip your blood on so many spirit weapons at once, won't you be able to choose any kind of weapon you want to use in the future? You don't have to go through so much trouble to transform it." Qin Yu was stunned. It seemed to be true. He could drip his blood on more than a dozen of the highest quality spirit weapons at once. After all, it was not a big deal to just have them recognize him as their master. He could use whatever he wanted in the future. However, this black origin can transform into all kinds of weapons. If you see some weapons you've never seen before in the future, you can also transform into them. Well, it's not a waste to refine this black origin. Li Er comforted Qin Yu again. Qin Yu didn't care. In fact, he didn't like to have so many spirit weapons. This one was enough for him. It's a pity that the black origin's toughness and sharpness are only so strong. It would be great if it could reach the level of an immortal weapon. Qin Yu was daydreaming at the moment. It was too difficult to have the ability to transform toughness and sharpness to an extremely high level. It was already very difficult for the black origin to reach the level of a highest quality spirit weapon. Qin Yu, who had reached the early stage of the core realm, was much faster than Lu Xing, who was at the late stage. Although the distance between the Hidden Dragon Continent and the Golden Tree Island was close to 200 million li, Qin Yu and Li Er flew easily all the way and didn't rush. They calculated well and arrived at the Golden Tree Island in exactly half a year. Looking from afar, the entire Golden Tree Island was golden, like a piece of gold in the ocean. After flying close, they discovered that the entire Golden Tree Island was covered with a kind of peculiar ancient tree. The ancient tree was very short, generally less than 10 m tall, but it was very thick, about 8 to 9 m thick. Its trunk was golden and so were its leaves. It was called the Golden Tree. There were such trees everywhere on the Golden Tree Island. The ground was covered with green grass. However, looking from the sky, most of the area was covered by the luxuriant branches and leaves of the Golden Tree. Naturally, the ground of the green grass could not be seen. At the moment, beside the ancient teleportation formation in the center of the Golden Tree Island, the representatives of the Panglai Immortal Region, the Purple Flame Devilish Dungeon, the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province have all arrived. Azure Dragon Yen Lang was sitting with legs crossed on the grass. There were 3 yellow-clad men behind him. Ting Shan, however, did not come. Old Freak Three-Eyed was also sitting with legs crossed. His long green hair even reached the ground. There was only a green-clad girl behind him. The Panglai Immortal Region unexpectedly only sent one representative, Reverend Yen Su. For representatives of the Purple Flame Devilish Dungeon had come, including Ida, Situ Shui, Zhao Jiu and a black-haired old man. Brother Qin Yu, why have you only arrived now? As soon as Azure Dragon sees Qin Yu flying over, he immediately welcomes him smilingly. Qin Yu and Li Er landed on the green grass. Big brother Azure Dragon, it seems I'm not late. That Yen Mo guy seems not to have arrived yet. Qin Yu takes a look at the other people. Suddenly, a faint smile appears on the corners of his mouth. He has found some fun places. I'm right behind you. Yen Mo's voice rises. Everybody looks up at the sky. They see him standing on a black cloud. There are 2 women behind him, one white and the other red. One of them was a woman with a white fur coat, and the other was a woman with a red fur coat. However, both of them had used illusions to cover their beast heads. Yen Mo, I remember you said 4 people would come. How come only 3 have come? Ida stands up and says. Yen Mo says smilingly, originally I wanted Hong Wan and Long Yen to come together. Too bad Long Yen still hasn't sensed his 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation, so I had no choice but to let him stay in the wilderness. Old Freak Three-Eyed suddenly stands up. Now that everybody has arrived, let's not waste any more time. Let's go straight into the chaotic astral ocean according to that map and go to the bottom of the ocean to open that 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. Old Freak Three-Eyed looks around at everybody and says coldly. Don't worry, don't worry. Yen Mo says smilingly. Before we set off, let's make things clear. The first thing is, even though it's only a journey of 10,000 li into the chaotic astral ocean, if we run into any fera beasts, we definitely can't run away. Of course. Old Freak Three-Eyed is the first to respond. The others also nod. Yen Mo continues, the second thing is about the treasures in this immortal mansion. According to the original rule, if there are 9 treasures in this immortal mansion, they can be distributed according to the proportion of jade swords owned. If they can't be distributed, for example, there's only 1 treasure, then everyone has to rely on their own ability. Needless to say, Ida says with a cold humph. The others do not object. In the Xiuzhen world, the strong are respected. If they can't distribute the treasures, naturally they will snatch them. When the time comes, it will depend on their own skills. Very good, then let's set off. Yen Mo is very satisfied with everybody's reaction. He then takes the lead to fly up. Reverend Yen Su, Ida, Old Freak Three-Eyed and the others also fly away from the Golden Tree Island with their subordinates. They look at Yen Mo flying ahead. Situ Shui and Zhao Jiu exchange a look, then give a cold humph. Reverend Yen Su, who is flying on one side, takes a look at Situ Shui and Zhao Jiu. His eyes flash with coldness. This journey of opening the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion is definitely not as simple as imagined. Chapter 193. Reverend Yen Su is the only Xiaoxianist, but there are 4 Xiamoists. Everybody on the scene knows that Xiaoxianists and Xiamoists are hostile to each other, whether on the Tanglong continent, the Panglai Immortal Region or the Purple Flame Devilish Dungeon. Everybody is flying, but Qin Yu and Li Er are watching the show with a smile. Yen Su, Nobody knows how many immortal weapons there are in this 9 swords immortal mansion. It's very unlikely that there are multiple of 9. When the time comes, we'll have to fight for them. Can you do it alone? Zhao Zhou says with a teasing smile. Zhao Zhou comes from the Yanmao school. Xiaomoists are free and do not care about killing. The Yanmao school is even famous among Xiaomoist schools for being bloodthirsty and arrogant, so it is not strange for Zhao Zhou to be like this. Yen Su gives an indifferent smile. The 9 swords immortal mansion was left behind by an immortal. Last time, based on the place where the 9th jade sword was hidden, we've already determined that this immortal was at least of the great principal golden immortal level. The treasures left behind by such an expert are God's gifts to us. Whoever can get the treasures will have to depend on their own luck. It's not as simple as having more people and power. You're so smug. Zhao Zhou says disdainfully. If Xiaoxianists pay attention to manners and etiquette, Xiaomoists are mostly free and unrestrained. Zhao Zhou, don't be rude to Reverend Yen Su. You're wrong to say that about him. Situ Shui helps Yen Su instead. Zhao Zhou, could it be that Reverend Yen Su doesn't want the treasures? Could it be that he doesn't want more people? But he can't do anything about it. After all, the Panglai Immortal Region only has 1 jade sword, so only 2 people can come here. Given the relationship between the Xiang School and the Lanyong School, perhaps neither of them wants to give in. In the end, only Yen Su can come here. It's not that Reverend Yen Su doesn't want to. It's just that he can't. Situ Shui sighs. Yen Su does not take it seriously at all. He looks at Zhao Zhou and Situ Shui with a clear and cold look in his eyes. Gentlemen, please don't talk nonsense here. Who doesn't know the dangers of the chaotic astral ocean? Even though that 9 swords immortal mansion is only 10,000 li away from the border of the chaotic astral ocean, who knows what kind of fera beasts will appear within this distance? Humph humph. Not to mention the 9 swords immortal mansion, those who are not strong enough may be killed by ferocious beasts before they even reach the immortal mansion. Look at the people around you. The 2 of you are really not very powerful. It's better to be careful. Reverend Yen Su's words are very sharp. Looking at Reverend Yen Su's smile, it seems to be a smile of disdain. Zhao Zhou and Situ Shui snorted coldly and said nothing more. At this moment, everyone was flying very slowly. In fact, the Golden Tree Island was very close to the border of the chaotic astral ocean. If they flew at full speed, they would be able to reach the chaotic astral ocean in a short while. However, everyone was very careful. The chaotic astral ocean was notorious for its ferocious nature, and no one wanted to die in the belly of the chaotic astral ocean's ferocious beasts before seeing the immortal mansion. A majestic aura that blotted out the sky and covered the earth rushed over. From afar, the terrifying sound of the waves was like the rumbling of thousands of heavenly thunders. At this moment, everyone could clearly hear that 100 miles away, the huge waves were surging into the sky, while the sea below them was very calm. Everyone knew that the chaotic astral ocean was 100 li away. Everyone. Yenemo looked around at everybody with a solemn expression, saying, "We're not far from the border of the chaotic astral ocean. We'll arrive very soon. But before we enter, I must tell you one thing. If you run into ferocious beasts, don't run away with all your might." His eyes were cold. "I'll be alone. Ida, Azure Dragon, and I will be in the front. Reverend Yen Su and Three-Eyed will be in the rear. The others will be in the middle. If any demonic beast appears in the front, Ida, Azure Dragon, and I will get into action. If it's in the rear, Reverend Yen Su and Three-Eyed will get into action. The others had better not take advantage of the situation. If we can't beat it, we'll run for our lives right away. Ida, Azure Dragon, Reverend Yen Su, Three-Eyed, do you have any objections?" Yen Mo seemed to be the leader of the group. Azure Dragon slightly shakes his head, saying, "Of course not. This chaotic astral ocean is mine. Even though it's only the border, I still feel a bit worried. We'll be a bit safer in the front. If we're disbanded, perhaps we'll be in chaos as soon as the ferocious beasts come." "I have no objections," Ida says coldly. Reverend Yen Su also nods smilingly. Brother Yen Mo, this is for everybody's sake. Seeing Old Freak Three-Eyed nod, Yen Mo says loudly, All right, now that the four of you have agreed, the others probably won't mind either. There is no need to consider this. Who would object to having experts block the front and protect the rear? Remember the formation. Ida, Azure Dragon and I are in the front. Reverend Yen Su and Three-Eyed are in the rear. The others can't fly ahead or behind. They can only stay in the middle. Yen Mo orders strictly. At this time, they must make a decision. Otherwise, if they do not follow the rules, they will probably be in trouble if they run into ferocious beasts. Seeing everybody nod, Yen Mo says with a loud laugh, Very good, now that everybody has agreed, let's get ready to enter the chaotic astral ocean. Let's go. Yen Mo, Ida and Azure Dragon are the leaders. Reverend Yen Su and Old Freak Three-Eyed are the last and the others are in the middle. Thus, this group of people starts to fly towards the chaotic astral ocean. Even these so-called top figures of the north of the chaotic astral ocean have never entered the chaotic astral ocean before. This time, if not for the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, if not for the fact that the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion is just 10,000 li away from the border of the chaotic astral ocean, who would have dared to come here? Wow! Everybody cries out in surprise. All of them are in high spirits. It's really spectacular. Qin Yu's eyes also brighten. When they get close to the chaotic astral ocean, everybody sees an unbelievable spectacle. At the moment, several li away from them, endless billows rise to a height of 100 m. Looking south, these hurricanes and billows are simply boundless. Using the area several li away as the boundary, the south is full of endless billows and hurricanes. However, north of that boundary, the water is very calm and undisturbed. It is very strange. Extremely strange. On one side of the ocean there are huge billows of 100 m while on the other side there are no ripples. It is as if there is a huge invisible membrane between these two bodies of water, separating them completely. The two bodies of water seem to be in different worlds. Heaven and earth are so mysterious. Such a spectacle is simply incomprehensible. The way of heaven is vague and vast. Even if we spend 10 million years, perhaps we'll only be able to glimpse a corner of heaven and earth. Reverend Yen Su says with a sigh, Who can explain the mysteries of heaven and earth? Qin Yu, however, remembers what Uncle Lon said at that time. Uncle Lon said that it is not a restrictive membrane but a kind of invisible law of heaven and earth. At least now Qin Yu is still unable to understand it. Even Uncle Lon may only call it a law of heaven and earth. As for understanding it, perhaps he has very little understanding of it. Understanding the law of heaven and earth, what kind of level is that? Qin Yu secretly sighs. Be careful, everybody. As soon as we enter the chaotic astral ocean, the holy energy of heaven and earth will become extremely turbulent. At the same time, people with unstable minds will also become agitated. You must keep your minds clear while flying extremely fast towards that Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Reverend Yen Su reminds them in a clear voice. Everybody nods. In the chaotic astral ocean, not only are there hurricanes and billows, the holy energy of heaven and earth is also extremely turbulent. In the chaotic astral ocean, ordinary people will feel agitated and irritable. If their minds are unstable, they will easily suffer from energy deviation and become extremely crazy. According to speculation, the reason why fera beasts have low intelligence and become violent and bloodthirsty is probably because of the influence of this kind of environment. When a newly born aquatic animal is ignorant and has low intelligence, it will naturally become irritable and crazy under the influence of the environment. It has been like this since childhood. If this continues, it will naturally become a so-called fera beast. Every place has its own people. This chaotic astral ocean has also produced special fera beasts. Everybody flies into the sky of the chaotic astral ocean from the sky above the calm ocean. Everybody feels a strange change. The density of the spiritual aura had increased by dozens of times, but at the same time, it was extremely chaotic. If the spiritual aura in the Qianlong continent and other places was like a docile rabbit, then the spiritual aura here was very chaotic. If the chaotic astral ocean is like the tame rabbit forest, then the holy energy here is like an angry gorilla, affecting everybody's state of mind. Those with chaotic, irritable, and unstable minds will naturally be affected. Keep your minds clear and fly extremely fast towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Reverend Yen Su's voice suddenly rises in everybody's minds via holy sense communication. Immediately, those who were affected just now wake up. When they wake up, they feel shocked too. This chaotic astral ocean really deserves its reputation. Qinyu takes a deep breath. Just now he was also somewhat affected, but because his mind is firm, he withstands it easily. Hearing Reverend Yen Su's voice, everybody speeds up at once. They all fly extremely fast towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Big Brother Qinyu, this place is a good place to temper one's mind and purify one's power. Moreover, I feel that the closer to the center of the chaotic astral ocean, the more vigorous and violent the holy energy is. No wonder so many loose immortals, loose demons and loose devils have gathered in the chaotic astral ocean. Li Er says smilingly to Qinyu through holy sense communication. Indeed, staying in such an environment for a long time, one's mind must be very firm. Moreover, one's power will become even purer under the tempering of the chaotic holy energy. Qinyu also agrees with this point of view. Li Er suddenly says curiously, Big Brother Qinyu, I haven't seen that Farabeast yet. What does it look like? Farabeast, I hope it's better not to see it. Qinyu is not as curious as Li Er. Everybody's speed is very fast. During the time when Qinyu and Li Er are talking, only about a minute has passed, but they have already traveled 1,000 li. However, at this moment, their good luck seems to have run out. Everybody hopes that the Farabeast will not appear, but it still appears. A huge silhouette appears in the surging waves. A shark over 100 m long. Only this shark's eyes are blood red and it naturally radiates a tyrannical aura. No, as it gets closer, everybody discovers that it cannot be simply called a shark because there are unexpectedly two sharp claws hidden under its fins. Roar. The shark utters a heaven-shaking strange cry. Its blood-red eyes stare at everybody. Obviously, it has already locked onto them. That shark's speed increases by several times in an instant and it rushes straight at them. Be careful, it's a Farabeast. Yenmo's voice rises in everybody's mind. Don't run around randomly. Farabeasts are generally close to divine beasts and have extremely powerful attacks. Don't be careless. Azure Dragon, Ida, let's go. Holy sense communication is only a thought, so it is very fast. As soon as the holy sense transmissions rise in everybody's mind, Azure Dragon, Ida and Yenmo rush towards that Farabeast shark. As for the others, of course they won't take advantage of the situation. Judging from its aura alone, this Farabeast is definitely not an ordinary Farabeast. Azure Dragon rushes to the front. His arms suddenly become thicker and at the same time they are covered with blue scales. His hands have already turned into a pair of dragon claws. The dire beast shark opened its big mouth, revealing its sharp teeth. Everyone believed that even if it was a top-grade spirit weapon, it would still be able to bite it. The Farabeast shark is extremely fast and its trajectory is very mysterious. Growing up in the chaotic astral ocean from childhood, this Farabeast's fighting ability is very strong. Azure Dragon's body turns into an arc and arrives directly under the shark. He is about to use his dragon claws to attack its abdomen. Clang! A sharp claw under the Farabeast shark's fin suddenly stretches out and directly grabs Azure Dragon. Azure Dragon wants to get rid of it, but in such a short distance, he unexpectedly does not have enough time. In the end, his human-shaped dragon claws and the shark claws collide. Azure Dragon flies backwards. The shark, however, utters a roar and becomes even more brutal. Haha, Azure Dragon Yenlang, you're really too weak. Watch me. Yenmo says through his holy sense, then immediately charges at the Farabeast shark. Yenmo, don't be careless. There isn't much difference between a Farabeast and a divine beast of the same level. Besides, Farabeasts have stronger fighting instincts. Azure Dragon reminds him at once. He has fought against the Farabeast shark once, so naturally he is aware of its power. A heart-palpitating sound is heard, as if a blade is being carved on glass. It is the result of the wrestling between Ida's right hand and the Farabeast shark's fin. As a result, Ida's right hand is cut and blood drips down. But right afterwards, Yen-Mo unexpectedly has a head-on collision with that Farabeast shark in his human form. After a series of loud explosions, both Yen-Mo and the Farabeast shark slightly pause. They seem to be evenly matched. That Farabeast shark is enraged. It immediately utters a furious roar and opens its big mouth, wanting to bite Yen-Mo to pieces. Hiss! A huge azure dragon suddenly appears. Its claw grabs the body of the Farabeast shark, which has no time to react. A huge wound immediately appears on its body, from which blood flows out. The Farabeast shark roars furiously and fiercely whips its tail on Azure Dragon's body. Azure Dragon dodges very fast, but the tail still hits the edge of his body. Several of his scales are shattered. His blood is dyed red and drops into the sea. Azure Dragon, let me kill him. Yen-Mo is furious. Yen-Mo immediately transforms into his true form, which is a black dragon whose body is almost the same as Azure Dragon's. The only difference is that this black dragon's eyes are blood red. This is none other than a divine beast black dragon, which is an extremely formidable dragon even among the dragon clan. Poochie. Blood splatters. Large chunks of flesh and blood fall into the sea. That Farabeast shark is directly split into two and dies on the spot. Yen-Mo transforms into his human form in an instant. Holding a Niden in his hand, he says with an ice-cold face, "An early Kongming Farabeast wants to deal with me? You're courting death." Early Kongming Farabeasts are not much different from early Kongming divine beasts. At the beginning, Azure Dragon did not transform into his true form, so he did not display his full power. Naturally, he was at a disadvantage. After Yen-Mo transformed into his true form, he was killed in one strike. However, everybody has never been to the chaotic astral ocean, so they do not know some taboos there. The smell of blood. Especially the smell of blood from non-Farabeasts, which will make the Farabeasts in the surroundings go crazy. Just now, both Azure Dragon and Ida shed blood, but they do not know about this taboo. Therefore, Chapter 194. Yen-Mo, Azure Dragon and Ida get into action. After several rounds of attacks, that Farabeast shark is directly cut into two halves, killing it on the spot. The others also secretly let out a sigh of relief. Brother Yen-Mo is really powerful. You killed this Farabeast so easily. Zhao Zhou says with a praising expression. Situ Shui however says, Zhao Zhou, could it be you don't know that in the Dragon Clan, black dragons are absolutely the best in terms of attack power? Only golden dragons are a bit better than them. Black dragons of the same level are much more powerful than Azure dragons. Yen-Mo takes a cold look at these two people, then says via holy sense communication, "Don't waste time talking nonsense here. This is the chaotic astral ocean. Everybody, hurry up and go to the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion." Qin Yu also takes a look at Situ Shui and Zhao Zhou, secretly thinking that these two people are too insensible. At the moment, everybody is in the chaotic astral ocean, which is full of dangers. The longer they stay, the more dangerous it will be. Perhaps some Farabeasts will appear in a while. Everybody immediately moves forward at high speed. Like a sharp arrow, like a rainbow, everybody is shuttling back and forth among the hurricanes and billows like lightning. All of them, with their robes fluttering and their long hair fluttering, really look like immortals in the eyes of mortals. If somebody's holy sense can cover an area of several tens of thousands li, he will discover that Farabeasts within this area are all rushing extremely fast towards the place where Azure Dragon and Ida's group are staying, with red eyes, as if they have been summoned by something. The weaker Farabeasts are equivalent to Jin Dan at the Yuanying stage, but the stronger ones are even weaker than Yen-Mo. A group of Farabeasts within several tens of thousands li are all rushing over. Unfortunately, at the moment Yen-Mo and the others simply don't know about this. In the front, Yen-Mo, Ida, and Azure Dragon have solemn expressions. Their holy senses are spread out and their spirits are highly concentrated. The three of them are the vanguard of everybody, riding the wind and breaking the waves, but they also spread out their holy senses at the same time, not daring to be the least bit careless. They have been flying for about 2 to 3 minutes. No good. Ida's face changes color greatly. In terms of soul level, Ida is even a level higher than Yen Mo. Only because Yen Mo is a divine beast, Ida is no match for him. At the moment, he discovers that fairy beasts in the distance are already attacking everybody. They are fairy beasts, no, a group of fairy beasts. Be careful, everybody, Ida said through holy sense communication. He seemed to be nervous. Immediately afterwards, Reverend Yen Su discovers something. Yen Mo and Azure Dragon also discover something in an instant. In the beginning, they thought that there were only 3 fairy beasts chasing after them, but in just a while, they discover that fairy beasts are coming from all directions. Dire beast horde. The ferocious beasts looked strange, like sharks, octopuses, and other mutated ferocious beasts. The difference between their mutations was that their attack power had been increased. The dire beasts also had another characteristic. Their eyes were blood red. It's a herd of ferocious beasts. Don't worry too much. Hurry up, hurry up. Don't try to kill all the ferocious beasts. Let's rush straight ahead. Let's get to the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion first. Yen Mo's holy sense message sounded like thunder in everyone's mind. It is easy to imagine how anxious Yen Mo is at the moment because his holy sense is so loud. Charge! Azure Dragon also roared. Charge! Ida's face is cold, but there is also a hint of fierceness in his eyes. Facing a group of ferocious beasts, no one dared to kill them one by one. After all, this was the chaotic astral ocean. If a Duja-stage ferocious beast were to appear at any time, perhaps everyone would be in trouble. Li Er, be careful. Qin Yu looks at Li Er and says through his holy sense. Li Er suddenly reaches out her hand to hold Qin Yu's hand, then stares into Qin Yu's eyes, saying through her holy sense, "You have to be careful too." Qin Yu nods. Li Er has a protective magic treasure, so her defensive power is much stronger than Qin Yu's. Moreover, Li Er's divine walking technique is much faster than Li Er's. Even though Li Er's power is very little, once she uses it, even though Qin Yu's power has increased greatly, his speed will still be far inferior to Li Er's even if he is riding Black Origin. Fast speed and high defense. Li Er is instead the safest. Growl, screech, howl, strange sounds resound in the world. Numerous pairs of blood-red eyes also appear. The sky is also dusky. Black clouds cover the entire sky, making it look like the end of the world. Boom! Thunder suddenly rumbles in the sky. Lightning zigzags down from the sky. At the same time, torrential rain starts to fall. Endless hurricanes, sky-soaring waves, sky-filling dark clouds, boundless rainstorm. Numerous pairs of blood-red eyes stare at everyone. For some reason, these ferocious beasts unexpectedly do not attack them immediately. Instead, they pause for a while. Facing several tens of blood-red-eyed ferocious beasts in front of them, everyone cannot help but slow down. Charge with me! Yen Mo's voice rises in everyone's mind. Immediately, Yen Mo, Ida, and Azure Dragon take the lead and make a slight detour. The others do not hesitate. One by one, they follow closely behind Yen Mo and the others. Everyone tries in vain to make a detour around the herd of ferocious beasts in front of them, but, the moment they make a detour, those several tens of ferocious beasts suddenly move. Like thunder, they charge at them. Just as they are about to charge, 10-odd more ferocious beasts come charging from the rear and the left. There's nowhere to hide. Let's charge straight to the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. Don't get caught up in fighting. As soon as Yen Mo's voice rises, his body immediately transforms into a huge black dragon. This black dragon also has blood-red eyes. Perhaps an ignorant person might even think that this black dragon is also a ferocious beast. At the same time, an azure dragon also appears. Both Yen Mo and azure dragon Yen Lang have changed into their true forms. At this moment, they can no longer hide their strength. They can see that the strongest of these ferocious beasts is only as strong as the shark from a moment ago, but there are so many of them. Poof! Blood splashes out. An arm-thick but 10-odd m long swordfish is directly torn into two halves by the black dragon. The black dragon takes the lead and charges straight ahead. The black dragon and Ida assist him on both sides. Charge and kill. In a breath's time, the surroundings are filled with seawater and blood. There is blood of ferocious beasts as well as human blood. Everybody charges and kills in the crowd of ferocious beasts. Naturally, Situ Shui, Zhao Jiu and Qin Yu, who are in the middle, are also attacked. The ferocious beasts are not afraid of death. They charge at everybody with blood-red eyes. That brutal killing intent is so crazy. Crazy, brutal and bloodthirsty. A black beam of light flashes for a while. A huge ferocious beast is directly divided into several parts. Qin Yu, whose body is wrapped in a black suit of armor, is holding a Niden in his hand. Qin Yu directly puts the Niden into his spatial ring. This black suit of armor is none other than Hei Yuan. Hei Yuan is refined from the essence of 100 top-grade crystals and can change into any shape. Advance. Advance. Advance recklessly. After nearly 3 minutes of killing, luckily there are experts protecting them from the front and the back. Those in the middle who are slightly weaker are not seriously attacked and only suffer flesh wounds. Yen Mo, Azure Dragon and Ida, who are in the lead, have killed the most ferocious beasts. They also suffer some minor injuries. After 3 minutes of charging and killing, there are about 70 to 80 ferocious beasts in all directions. Everybody has killed 10-odd and injured 34, but the others have not touched them. Hurry up! The ferocious beasts at the border are not very strong. Hurry up! If we are late, some ferocious beasts will come and it will be too late. Yen Mo shouts through his holy sense. At the same time, he speeds up. Everybody also speeds up to the limit. The weak ones are like Old Freak Three-Eyed's maids. Old Freak Three-Eyed directly grabs them and flies. He does everything possible to increase his speed. Everybody has already sensed the terrors of the chaotic astral ocean. It has only been a few minutes since they entered. The total power of the ferocious beasts they have encountered is about the same as theirs. If they really fight recklessly, many of them will definitely die. Shuttling back and forth in the billows, the blood on everybody's bodies is also washed clean. 1,000 li away, a black phantom rushes extremely fast in the direction of everybody. It is much faster than those ferocious beasts just now. Wherever it goes, the billows get out of its way. In just a while, Yen Mo sees a phantom in the distance. His face changes color greatly. Ida's and Azure Dragon's faces also change color greatly. They have just sensed the aura of that ferocious beast and have not even found out its power level when it has already appeared in the range of their eyes. Watch out! Yen Mo only has time to warn them using his holy sense. Immediately afterwards, he charges at that phantom in his black dragon form. Just now Yen Mo, Ida and Azure Dragon's companions have already noticed the phantom's speed. Even Yen Mo is much slower than it. Therefore, nobody can escape from it and can only fight it head-on. Using the black dragon's divine body, Yen Mo tries in vain to defeat this phantom. Ida, Azure Dragon, Reverend Yen Su, Old Freak Three-Eyed, Qin Yu and more than 10 others do not get into action because they are not sure. A series of explosions rise. At the same time, the billows around them are sent flying in all directions by the shockwaves. Even the water droplets that have been sent flying are shot extremely fast in all directions like hidden weapons. When those water droplets reach the bodies of Ida, Qin Yu and the others, they immediately shatter. In an instant, that black phantom and the black dragon separate. Now everybody finally sees the true appearance of that black phantom. It is a huge black crab that is more than 10 m tall. Its black slender legs are obviously very slender and powerful. Those two huge pincers are even extremely sharp. Every piece of this crab's armor is shiny black. As for its defensive ability, nobody doubts it because just now this black crab and the black dragon had a big fight. During the momentary fight, a several-meter-long wound appeared on the black dragon's body. Its dragon scales were shattered and blood flowed out from the wound. However, that black crab only has a white mark on its armor but is not damaged at all. Needless to say, it is very powerful. It's a Duja stage Fera beast, a bit more powerful than me. Others, don't try to attack it in vain. Given its defensive ability, you simply won't be able to break its defense. All of you, charge towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Yen Mo uses Holy Sense communication directly. As soon as they fight, Yen Mo knows that this black crab is even a bit more powerful than him. It is definitely a Duja stage Fera beast. Suddenly, that huge black crab moves. Facing the black dragon with its body, it charges at him horizontally. Its blood-red eyes are very small, but even so, they are like bright blood-red stars, gloomy and ice-cold. With another series of rumbles, the black crab and the black dragon charge at each other. Both of them are far more powerful than everybody else, so the speed of their fight is so fast that everybody feels that the dragon and the crab have become illusions again. Don't waste time. Charge. Ida shouts using his holy sense. Immediately afterwards, he and Azure Dragon take the lead in charging towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. At the moment, they have no time to care about the Black Dragon. Given the Black Dragon's power, everybody else is of no use here. More than 10 people immediately charge towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. In just a while, a black illusion has overtaken everybody. This Ferabeast crab is too formidable. We can't linger in battle. Let's run away as fast as we can. We'll talk about it after we get into the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. The Black Dragon's voice rises in everybody's mind. This black illusion is none other than the fleeing Black Dragon Yen Mo. Everybody simply doesn't say anything superfluous and rushes straight towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. But how can the Black Ferabeast crab possibly let them off? Only after they have flown for a few breaths of time does the crab appear again. The Black Dragon immediately roars furiously and fights the crab again, telling everybody to run a bit further away. In just a while, the Black Dragon flees again. He keeps fighting the black crab time and time again so that everybody can run a bit further away. However, Yen Mo always avoids fighting and flees so that he can fight again after a while. He wants to rely on this to reach the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion as soon as possible. However, after each fight, the Black Dragon's body is riddled with scars and his huge body is covered with blood. His dragon scales are also broken in quite a few places. As for the Black Ferabeast crab, it has also suffered some injuries. For example, the silver protective scales on its abdomen have been torn into 2 pieces by the Black Dragon. In terms of divine beast ranks, Azure Dragon is only an ordinary divine beast while the Black Dragon is on par with the 3 blue-eyed toad. Even though it is only a middle Kongming stage Black Dragon, it is equivalent to a late Kongming stage Azure Dragon. It is only a bit weaker than that Duja stage Ferabeast crab. Hold on for a while longer. We'll almost arrive. Yen Mo shouts through his holy sense. He was cheering for everyone, and also cheering for himself. If they really keep going like this, Yen Mo can still reach the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion after suffering some injuries at most. However, Qin Yu suddenly catches a glimpse of a black phantom rushing towards them extremely fast amidst the rolling waves in the distance. It is so fast that it is definitely not inferior to that Black Ferabeast crab of a moment ago. At the same time, Ida, Azure Dragon and the others have already discovered the Black Phantom. No good, it's another Ferabeast crab. The Black Ferabeast crab in the front suddenly stops, blocking everybody's way. The Black Ferabeast crab in the back also chases after Black Dragon. Don't want to escape, you'll suffer death. A deep and resounding voice rises. However, it seems to say these words with great difficulty, one word at a time. Flying next to everybody, Black Dragon Yen Mo looks at the 2 black Ferabeast crabs in front and behind him. Ferabeasts have low intelligence, but after reaching a very high level, their intelligence has increased a bit. These two Ferabeast crabs should both be Duja stage Ferabeasts. If there is only one of them, we can still barely escape, but two of them. Everybody, get ready to risk your lives. Yenmo's holy sense voice rises in everybody's mind. Facing two Duja stage Ferabeasts in front and behind him, Ida, Azure Dragon, Situ Shui, Qin Yu and the others all have somewhat unsightly expressions. At the same time, a hint of bloody light also appears in their eyes. They can only risk their lives. Chapter 195. There is a black Ferabeast crab in the front and a black Ferabeast crab behind. These two Ferabeasts are both extraordinarily powerful. Even if Black Dragon Yen Mo gets into action, he is still a bit weaker than the Ferabeast crab. This Black Dragon is pretty powerful. You were able to injure my younger brother. Now the black Ferabeast crab in the front speaks a bit more coherently. Only now does everybody realize that these two Ferabeast crabs, one in the front and one in the back, are unexpectedly brothers. Moreover, judging from the situation, this black Ferabeast crab in the front is definitely not weaker than his younger brother and may even be a bit stronger. This place is already not far from the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, only 1,000 li away. Everybody, run away as fast as you can. There are only two of them. They definitely won't be able to injure everybody. Let's run. Yenmo's voice rises in everybody's mind. Run. Who can run away will have to depend on their own abilities. Qin Yu holds Li Er's hand very tightly. Li Er also holds Qin Yu's hand in return and says solemnly through her holy sense, "Big brother Qin Yu, let's go as fast as possible." Qin Yu stares at that Ferabeast in the front. The black light on his body circulates and leaves his body. The black origin immediately turns into a flying sword. Qin Yu stands on the flying sword. The star core in his dantian emits golden star energy and fuses it with the flying sword. Li Er, activate your protective magic treasure. Don't let anything unexpected happen. As for me, don't worry. After reaching the star core stage, I've never used my full speed. Qin Yu says with a chuckle. His eyes, which are staring at the black Ferabeast crab, however, flash with a hint of fierceness. With a series of explosions in the air, everybody at the scene has used their fastest speed. All of them take different routes, either rushing straight towards the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, flying in a curve or shuttling underwater. Qin Yu's golden star energy is completely connected with the black origin flying sword and every part of his body. His entire body turns into a golden rainbow and rushes extremely fast in the direction of the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, leaving behind a graceful trajectory. Li Er, however, easily follows Qin Yu in just several steps as if she is taking a stroll. Black Dragon, prepare to die. The boss Black Ferabeast crab in the front then charges at Black Dragon Yen Mo. As for his younger brother, that Ferabeast crab number 2, who is at the rear, he is charging at the others. It seems all crabs are hostile to dragons. This Ferabeast crab number 2 unexpectedly charges at Azure Dragon Yen Lang directly. Azure Dragon immediately knows that the situation is bad. Roar. With a furious roar, Azure Dragon actually transformed into his human form. Facing the attack of the black ferocious crab, he actually transformed into his human form, which had a weaker attack power. Set up the formation. Qing Long's expression was solemn. The three yellow-clothed men who had come with him immediately formed a tripartite formation and circled behind Qing Long immediately. The three yellow-clothed men began to emit rays of light. Dazzling light also appeared on Qing Long's hands. Everyone else was fleeing as fast as they could, only to hear an earth-shaking explosion. Both sides quickly retreated. Taking advantage of the recoil, Azure Dragon and the three yellow-clothed men fled at an even faster speed. The black ferocious beast crab, on the other hand, was forced back. By the time the ferocious beast crab was about to give chase, Azure Dragon and the three yellow-clothed men were already dozens of miles away. With a roar, the ferocious crab madly chased after him. At the moment, Black Dragon Yen Mo is also fighting that big brother ferocious crab. This time Yen Mo has gone completely crazy, displaying his true power as a black dragon with an extremely high attack power in the dragon clan. Sharp dragon claws, a powerful dragon tail, as well as the unique skills of a black dragon. Black Dragon Yen Mo's blood-red eyes shine brightly, emitting various red rays of light which unexpectedly merge with every part of his body. The injuries all over his body are unexpectedly healing at a visible speed. You prepare to die. Yen Mo also stares at Big Brother Black Ferocious Crab and shouts furiously. Big Brother Black Ferocious Crab is naturally furious. As a ferocious beast, how can it be afraid? Encountering such a formidable black dragon, it will only become even crazier. The black ferocious crab turns its face upwards and roars furiously. Immediately afterwards, it charges at Yen Mo extremely fast. Fight. A bloody fight. This time, Yen Mo's speed is much faster. His body's recovery speed is also much faster. His defensive power is also much stronger. All of this is due to his blood-red eyes. His blood-red eyes are different from ferocious beasts' eyes. They are the foundation of the Black Dragon clan's formidability. Dragon scales shatter, crab scales fall off. Their blood stains the waves red. However, as the waves roll, the blood disappears in a while. Suddenly, Black Dragon Yen Mo unexpectedly rushes straight for the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion with a wave of his tail. This is because he knows very well that this time his purpose is to open the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion and not to fight a ferocious beast to the death here. Ferocious beasts like killing, but he does not. Qin Yu's speed is extremely fast, especially after riding his sword. He is even as fast as Yi Da's and Reverend Yen Su's. Li Er, of the two ferocious beasts, one is fighting Yen Mo and the other is fighting Azure Dragon. The rest of us are a bit more relaxed. Now Qin Yu is slightly relaxed in his heart. If he were to fight the black ferocious crab head-on, perhaps he would end up very miserably. Big Brother Qin Yu, that Azure Dragon and those three yellow-clad men seem to be very formidable. Who are those three yellow-clad men? They can unexpectedly form such a strange formation and can even beat back that black ferocious crab by joining forces. Li Er says in amazement. Qin Yu's holy sense has also discovered this scene. In terms of power, the black ferocious crab is a Duja stage ferocious beast and quite a few times more formidable than Azure Dragon. However, Azure Dragon has transformed into a human form and joined forces with the other three yellow-clad men to form a special formation to attack it. Could it be this is Azure Dragon's trump card? Qin Yu raises his eyebrows. Who knows how many treasures there are in the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion? At that time it was said that it would be easy to distribute them if they were multiples of 9. But is it really so coincidental? Moreover, even if it is so coincidental, perhaps once Yen Mo and the other experts become greedy, nobody will be able to stop them from killing and looting. It is very normal for them to fight for magic treasures in this immortal mansion. It was likely that every force had a trump card. Various extremely furious roars rise. After being beaten back several times by Azure Dragon, that black ferocious crab finally goes berserk. He unexpectedly stops following Azure Dragon's group of 4 and instead attacks the others. But at this moment, the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion is right below us. Let's dive down. Reverend Yen Su shouts loudly and dives down first. The others also rush down one after another. After going through this bloody battle, they finally reach the location of the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. They immediately dive down to the bottom of the chaotic astral ocean. Poof! Along with a miserable cry, the green-clad woman brought by Old Freak Three-Eyed is directly crushed by one of the black Farabeast crab's slender claws. If the black Farabeast crab's 2 huge pincers are several meters thick, this slender claw is nearly half a meter thick. As for its length, it is more than 10 meters long. Old Freak Three-Eyed's face changes color, but he does not go to fight this ferocious crab. Instead, he dives down to the bottom of the ocean even faster. At this moment, it is not worth fighting a ferocious crab for a subordinate. Moreover, Old Freak Three-Eyed does not have enough power to fight this ferocious crab. Pang! Water splashes in all directions. Black Dragon Yen Mo also dives into the water. He then swims extremely fast towards the bottom of the ocean. That big brother ferocious crab also chases after him. Only the black dragon, whose body has been fused with the blood-red light, has become much faster. Black dragon Yen Mo is very fast, really fast. In a while, he catches up with old freak three-eyed, Reverend Yen Su, Qin Yu and the others. No good. Qin Yu's face changes color. He has already noticed that two ferocious crabs are coming at him from behind. Of course, these two ferocious crabs are not targeting Qin Yu alone. Instead, they are targeting everybody. Perhaps that big brother crab is chasing after Qin Yu. All of them hurry on their way extremely fast. However, the divine beast Hong Wan, who has just overcome the 6 in 9 heavenly tribulation, is the slowest of them all. The black ferocious crab in the front immediately attacks Hong Wan. A loud noise is heard. Immediately afterwards, the water around them becomes boiling hot. Hong Wan. Hong Wan is a divine beast under Yen Mo's command. Seeing Hong Wan covered in blood and flames, he immediately becomes furious. However, facing two Duja-stage ferocious beasts, he does not dare to fight them alone. Yen Mo turns around extremely fast. With a sweep of his dragon tail, he directly collides with one of the black ferocious crabs. Afterwards, he grabs Xue Nu and Hong Wan with his two claws. Afterwards, he rushes downwards extremely fast. Qin Yu, Li Er, Reverend Yen Su, Yi De, Azure Dragon and Old Freak Three-Eyed are second only to Yen Mo. Behind them are Situ Xue, Zhao Jiu, the black-haired old man and the 3 yellow-clad men. Where's the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion? According to the map transmitted by the 9 Jade Swords at that time, this 9 Swords Immortal Mansion should be only several hundred meters below them. Given everybody's eyesight, of course they should be able to see it. However, at the moment they find that there are only rocks and corals below them. Where is the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion? Everybody is a bit stupefied. They have risked their lives to get here, but they simply cannot see the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. For the sake of the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion, each of them has spent countless manpower and mental energy. They have fought over every Jade Sword and explored the place where the 9th Jade Sword is hidden. They have even almost lost their lives. For example, Di Long, Di Jian and Di Su were killed by Yen Mo. Only in the end did they know that the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion was in the chaotic Astral Ocean. After rushing into the chaotic Astral Ocean and killing their way here, they have almost lost their lives. If they had entered the Immortal Mansion, it would have been fine, but there is no Immortal Mansion here. None. Black Dragon Yen Mo stands on the Rocky Mountain Range with his subordinates, the Snow Women and Hong Wan, but he does not know what to do. In theory, this place should be where the Immortal Mansion is, but why is there no Immortal Mansion here? One by one, they descend and fly to the top of this Rocky Mountain Range. Everybody is a bit stupefied. Growl. Furious roars rise. 2 huge black ferabeast crabs come charging at them. Unable to find the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion and having to face the pursuit of the black ferabeast crabs, everybody who has come here after going through untold hardships does not know what to do. They only feel that they have been wronged. If they die here, it will be even more wronged. You won't be able to escape. The big brother black ferabeast crab stands in front of everybody and says coldly, Yen Mo, I'll deal with the big brother. Second brother, you guys go. I see that your formation is pretty good. With the help of Yi De and the others, you'll be able to have a match with the second brother black ferabeast crab. Yen Mo says to everybody present through holy sense communication. As for the others, let's see if there are any mechanisms here. Yen Mo looks at Situ Xue and the others. Everybody nods. Yen Mo will fight a black ferabeast crab, Azure Dragon, 3 yellow-clad men and Ida by himself. Reverend Yen Su, Old Freak Three-Eyed and the others will join forces to attack the second brother black ferabeast crab. This plan is pretty good, but can it really be realized? You're all very idiotic. The big brother black ferabeast crab does not seem to be worried at all. Since the opponents are not attacking, Yen Mo and the others do not want to attack either. They only want to stall for time so that they can find the mechanism and discover the location of the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Yen Mo and the other experts are keeping an eye on these two Farabeast crabs while Situ Shui, Zhao Jiu, Shui Nu, the seriously injured Hong Wan, Qin Yu, Li Er and the others are searching carefully. The blood of non-Farabeasts will attract a great number of Farabeasts. You've been fighting with us for such a long time, so your blood will definitely attract a lot of Farabeasts. Some of them are as powerful as us or even more powerful. At the moment, the big brother Black Farabeast talks unhurriedly. It seems he enjoys the chance to talk very much. Ordinary Farabeasts cannot talk. Only some intelligent Farabeasts can talk. Yen Mo, Azure Dragon and Yi De. The faces of Qin Yu and the others, who are carefully searching for the location of the mechanism, all change color. So that's how it is. No wonder so many Farabeasts will come to besiege them after killing the first Farabeast shark. It turns out the blood of non-Farabeasts will attract Farabeasts in the surroundings. However, at this moment, various furious roars rise. At the same time, several pairs of blood-red eyes rush over. Everybody understands that this means even more Farabeasts are coming. Of the 6 Farabeasts, 3 are at the Dongshu stage, 2 are at the Kongming stage and 1 is at the Dujia stage. No good. Yen Mo's face changes color. 2 Dujia stage Farabeasts are already very hard to deal with. Now another Farabeast, which is not inferior to the Black Farabeast crab, has come. While everybody's heart is trembling, various furious roars rise again. Numerous pairs of blood-red eyes also come over. The more time passes, the more Farabeasts gather. What should we do, Yen Mo? Azure Dragon looks at Yen Mo with a very unsightly expression. At the moment, there is no hope at all for them to fight recklessly. While Qin Yu, Li Er and the others are searching, they also pay attention to these Farabeasts. All of them feel a great pressure. At the moment, there are already several tens of Farabeasts. There are unexpectedly 5 of them at the Dujia stage and nearly 10 at the Kongming stage. Moreover, as time passes, their numbers are still slowly increasing. The 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts are at the forefront. Compared to the overseas Xiuzhen world, this world of Farabeasts in the chaotic astral ocean is where the strong are respected. There are more than 10 outsiders here. Us brothers want that black dragon and the 2 people next to him. The big brother Black Crab says. In the middle of the 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts is a tigersark with 2 blood-red sharp horns on its forehead. It says in an extremely slow tone, "The others? I don't want them. That man and that woman. Only those 2, I want them." The 2-horned tigersark Farabeast is talking about Qin Yu and Li Er. Its blood-red eyes stare at Qin Yu and Li Er with a hint of greed. Only now do everybody realize that these 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts have unexpectedly regarded them as prey and are dividing them up. However, right at this moment, a deep, furious roar rises. The 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts unexpectedly all tremble, then immediately separate from each other. An extremely huge Farabeast, a huge black object which is several hundred meters tall, shoots towards them from the distance. Yen Mo, Yi De, Qin Yu and the others feel a great increase in pressure again. This several hundred meters huge black object is actually a huge octopus. This octopus is very strange. It has a lot of tentacles. At first glance, there are actually several tens of tentacles. An octopus only has 8 tentacles, but this octopus has several tens. Moreover, this octopus only has 1 blood-red eye. The one-eyed Farabeast is standing in the middle of the group. The 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts immediately retreat behind it very respectfully. De Shang stage Farabeast. Azure Dragon says in a low voice. The others' faces change color. The one-eyed octopus glances at Azure Dragon and says, "How do you know I'm a De Shang stage Farabeast? You seem to be only a Kongming stage divine beast." In terms of intelligence, this one-eyed octopus is much more intelligent than the 5 Dujia stage Farabeasts. Azure Dragon only feels his heart beat faster. He immediately says, I guessed. Seeing how respectful those 5 are to you, I guessed it. A Deshang stage Fera beast. This is an existence close to a Deshang stage divine beast. If it wants to kill everybody, it will be as easy as blowing off dust. But right at this moment, various rays of light of bright yellow, moonlight white, azure blue, shoot out from the Rocky Mountain range at the bottom of the sea where everybody is standing. The rays of light are not affected at all and pierce through the darkness. They make the area of the sea within several tens li of them brighten up completely. Ah! That one-eyed octopus suddenly cries out in pain. When those rays of light hit his body, he seems to be corroded and blood starts to seep out. With a cry of pain, he immediately makes a movement of his body and flees away. The 5 Duja stage Fera beasts also cry out in pain as if they have suffered unbearable pain. All of them bleed out. They also turn around and flee at once, simply not caring about Yen Mo, Qin Yu and the others. Only they seem to be affected by those rays of light, so their flying speed is especially slow. But at any rate, they have already flown several tens li away and run away. As for the other Deshang stage Fera beasts and Combing stage Fera beasts, they all cry out in pain and want to run away. But because they are slower, they suffer greater injuries. Their resistance is even weaker. In just a while, these Fera beasts' bodies fester then turn into ashes. Yen Mo, Yi De, Reverend Yen Su, Qin Yu and Old Freak Three-Eyed are all dumbstruck. Extremely powerful Deshang stage Fera beasts have been scared away by these rays of light and even seriously injured. The Combing stage Fera beasts have even been turned into ashes directly. Immortal Mansion, the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. A cry of alarm is heard. It is Zhao Jiu who shouts. Everybody turns around to look. They see that more and more rays of light are shooting out. That Rocky Mountain range unexpectedly also shatters. An extremely large building starts to appear. Bathed in the miraculous rays of light, a magnificent immortal mansion finally appears. Not a single Fera beast dares to come close to the area within several tens li of the area illuminated by the rays of light. Being illuminated by these rays of light, Qin Yu, Yen Mo and the others instead feel comfortable from head to toe and are not affected at all. As the Rocky Mountain range shatters more and more, the appearance of the immortal mansion is also completely revealed. Under various rays of light, an immortal mansion that looks like it is made entirely of jade appears. Its majestic aura makes everybody's heart tremble. Good heavens! Is this an immortal mansion? For the moment, everybody is shocked by this immortal mansion. At the same time, they feel delighted. Just by looking at the immortal mansion, it is already so impressive. How can the treasures in it be inferior? Ah! A miserable cry rises. Qin Yu's face changes color greatly because Old Freak Three-Eyed, who is right beside him, has unexpectedly been blown up directly. Yuan Ying has even been pierced through and falls down. The extremely formidable Old Freak Three-Eyed has unexpectedly died just like that. Qin Yu knows that the situation is not good. At the same time, he also feels an extremely terrifyingly powerful energy coming at him from behind. It's attacking me. Even though he has sensed it, at the moment Qin Yu simply has no time to dodge because the opponent is too fast. But no matter what, he has to give it a try. Qin Yu tries his best to dodge to the right. At the very least, he cannot injure his head and Dantian. Li Er. When Qin Yu's body is dodging, he discovers that Li Er has unexpectedly arrived behind him to shield his back. He cannot help being greatly alarmed. A loud noise is heard. Li Er's body sends out transparent ripples, easily blocking that terrifying attack. Li Er's protective magic treasure has taken effect. That attack, which blew Old Freak Three-Eyed into dregs with ease, is blocked by Li Er with ease. But now the mysterious man's targets seem not only Qin Yu and Old Freak Three-Eyed. At the same time, there are other people as well. Boom! 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 A series of explosions rise. After a while, the explosions stop. The smoke settles down completely. Qin Yu looks around. Reverend Yen Su, Yi De, Situ Shui and Zhao Jiu are still smiling. But the Zuyoists, At the moment, Yen Mo is kneeling on one knee. His face is very pale and his blood is flowing all over the ground. Azure Dragon is lying on one side. Those 3 yellow-clad men are all supporting him. Yen Mo's 2 subordinates, Xue Nu and Hong Wan, are lying on the ground. They are already lifeless. Dead. Tisk tisk. This person should be a member of the Stellar Tower. Since he was able to take a blow from me without dying, he should have that loose immortal's protective magic treasure. Looks like that loose immortal of the Stellar Tower really deserves his reputation. Standing in front of the immortal mansion, a black-robed man says smilingly. At the moment, there is another black-robed man beside him. The one who attacked just now was obviously this mysterious black-robed man. Seeing the 2 black-robed men, Zhao Jiu is delighted at once. He kneels down at once and says respectfully, "Disciple Zhao Jiu pays respect to Grand Master and Grand Uncle Master." You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.